Good afternoon, chat. My name is John Tyler. I'll be your host today. I'm currently doing a little bit of background testing in order to confirm something real quick. Make sure that all the settings are correct. Hello, fashion. One sec, chat. Okay, I think I got everything set correctly. Yeah, something like that. All right, chat. We're gonna start off with some introductions. My buddy Cad here has just come through. He's actually been waiting on me to lock my shit in for a fair bit. So apologies to Cad for my lateness.
Nothing to apologize for.
Hey everybody. So we're gonna get started here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and adjust a couple things. Just turn that down a little bit. We're gonna actually start off with a little bit of good old fashioned React Andy content, because I need to give you guys, both CAD and the audience, a primer to understand what's going on. So stand by for that there. I'm going to close all this. I'll set this up so that I can also broadcast this to you, CAD, so you don't got to go hunting for the content. Let's see. You know, you would think I was smart. I'd be smart enough to have this tweet on deck as well, considering it's my fucking tweet. But you know how it is. Okay, so there's this one. We're gonna start. We're gonna start with something of an atypical source, but one that I think is really effective for a general overview for everything that is relevant to classic marathon. This includes, for those of you that saw the meme I posted on Twitter a couple weeks ago, this includes the whole, like, what the fuck does Bill Clinton have to do with this paradigm, so to speak. So we'll get into that in just a second. I'm going to full screen this. I'm going to create a window capture, and I'm also going to stream this window to the Discord so we get some real-time cohabitation. Where is that window capture? There we go. I know how to do this. Opera. Okay, select window. Entire history of marathon. Oh, gonna have to copy the transform. Hit OK. We'll do this. Slide it down. We're gonna do one of these here. Transform, copy, paste. Transform, paste. That is not the right transform. Okay, we're going to try this again. Oh, actually, you know what? Hang on. I got just the thing to fix this. Clear this, clear this. There we go, chat. Okay, we got it now. Okay. So, this video is by Jake the Allright. Full credit to them. He is a big marathon lorehead, arguably a bigger marathon lorehead than myself, because he's been covering this stuff for the better part of a year. And I have just been sort of selfishly hoarding all the knowledge to myself. So we're going to get started with this as a reaction. I'm going to stream this to the Discord call I'm in right now real quick so that CAD can stay stuck up in real time here. Which screen is this? This one. Got it. Okay, I've got a couple windows open right now, so I want to make sure I'm sending the right thing. I also have a game manual from 1993. That's right. So a bit of a very, very long time ago.
I was 6.
God, I don't even think I could talk yet. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Anyway, chat, we're gonna go ahead and get started. This video, again, by Jake the Allright. Full credit to them. I'll have a link in the chat for those of you that want to go give. I'll a like over there,
In the deep
please do that.
recesses of primordial space, ancient aliens would battle with technology that even modern man could not fathom. These alien races were known as the Yarrow in the working Kakantur.
So now I want to be clear. This is not, well, it is, but it isn't. It is not the absolute start of the timeline, but it is, for all intents and purposes, the beginning of anything that could be considered Earth's involvement with the greater universe of Marathon.
A million years ago, the battle amongst the waves that were early space would result in an element of the working Kakantur crashing into the Yucatan Peninsula. This would ultimately be the end to the Mesozoic era and allow mammals to take over.
So yes, they're basically saying aliens crashed the meteor that killed the dinosaurs into Earth.
Disappear from the galaxy, leaving behind military and civilian outposts on the moons of many habitable worlds. The Yarrow's absence would allow for an alien race known as the Four millions of years later to begin plundering the universe for their advanced technology. The Four would utilize this technology to either enslave or destroy any race that they came across. But far from Four-controlled space, humanity would evolve. This would ultimately give way to the growth and subsequent collapse of many civilizations. Simultaneous to the common era of humanity, the second planet of a dim star 97 light-years away from the gravitational center of the Milky Way would come to be known as Lahuan, the homeworld of the Sphit. The Sphit were a near
So meanwhile, basically basically throughout the early history of humanity, this is what's going on elsewhere in the galaxy relevant to us. So the Sphit are getting enslaved. The Yarrow, the ancient race that that Jake just talked about, has basically effed off out of the galaxy and possibly the known universe.
By the ancient Yarrow. Inner turmoil between the Sphit would result in the Sphit Kur, one of the 11 Sphit clans, conducting an exodus to the third moon of Lahuan in the year 811 AD.
Also, I want to be clear, some pronunciations and stuff like this, I may say things differently, other fans may say things differently. Most of these words were never said out loud at any point in the original history of Marathon, so I'll try to do my best to be consistent with that.
The 1930s would see the rise of rumors of a strange pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula. This would lead to an expedition of the pyramid by German soldiers in 1938 and Spanish-speaking treasure hunters in 1978. Neither groups were ever heard from again. On May 5th of 1994, the hologram of a Yarrow diplomat known as would appear in the Pentagon before President Bill Clinton. He would inform the senior U.S. military officials that a sleeping working Kakantur god lay beneath the strange temple in the Yucatan Peninsula, and that a nuclear warhead must be deployed there to prevent it from destroying Earth. The U.S. would deploy a Special Forces team to conduct the operation. The lone survivor of the mission, Sergeant Eddings, would activate the nuclear warhead successfully and escape from the pyramid with a handful of ancient alien artifacts.
Pay attention, chat. This part's important.
The last artifact and demonstrations of its capabilities for top military scientists. But was it really the last artifact? On November 5th, 1996, the Yarrow would arrive on Earth to take permanent measures against the buried working Kakantur. But
so I want to be clear here as well. This image is using a reworked. It's basically an edited sprite from the original Marathon game of a Sphit compiler. This is speculation on what the Yarrow might have actually looked like. We don't know. This is just going off of what we've seen in the game from essentially the slave race they created in order to help them build and terraform worlds. So grain of salt with a lot of this stuff in here. This is a very, very well researched video, but you have to understand, chat, that the history of Marathon and specifically the events that happen are all depicted to us by entirely unreliable narrators, and that's by design. So just I should have maybe clarified that a few minutes ago, but just everything you're hearing in here is subject to change. When we play the game next week, it may be the case that some, none, or all of this is true to varying degrees. But this is just to give us a primer so that we understand exactly where we're going. Or, well, we understand exactly where we could go, I should say.
The details of this event are unknown to this very day. Human technology.
Case in point, I didn't even plan that, by the way. I did not even plan that. He said the details of this event are unknown. I did not plan that.
Continue to advance throughout the 21st century. Surely,
So this is where we are now, 2026. It's passing us by, but you know, this is where we're going, clearly.
By the latter half of the 21st century, humanity had created true artificial intelligence, and with that came rampancy. Rather than a design flaw, this rampancy was a natural consequence of a learning system growing in complexity beyond its original design parameters. This would be expressed as aberrant behavior from the AI, ultimately leading down the same path every time: melancholia, anger, and then jealousy.
Keep those 3 words in mind.
Congregation of visionary engineers and philosopher scientists would found the company Traxxas, with the goal of developing artificial intelligence.
Not to be confused with the RC car company in the United Kingdom.
Relocate to Mars and expand into the market of extraterrestrial mining. In 2152, Hideo Murakami would found the company Sakaguchi Electronics. They would quickly move into the automotive and robotics industries with great success. In 2158, they would make their biggest leap yet and develop.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Ranch.
Module. By 2192, Sakaguchi was capable of producing a range of prosthetics and assistive devices. Only 2 years later, a war between the independent asteroid government of Icarus and the Republic of Thermopylae would break out on the asteroid Onisis 492. Battleroids, deceased soldiers resurrected and cybernetically enhanced, would be unleashed upon the battlefields of this war.
So, clarification point here. This was the result of growing tensions between the Earth's government and the burgeoning interstellar, quote-unquote, interplanetary governments that were being established as humanity was stretching out to the stars. But specifically, this is the first incident on record of the existence of the player character's archetype. So you play in Marathon, you play as a Battleroid, a reanimatable cyborg that is created from technology that is both human and maybe something else. Once we get to Marathon Infinity, probably by like Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, we'll be able to get into greater detail on what that implies and what that entails.
Result, near total destruction of both would be unleashed upon the battlefields of this war. The result, near total destruction of both sides. The involvement of Sakaguchi technology in their creation is highly likely. In 2206, the rampant AI Traxxas 4 would shut down the entire Martian net. The AI would not be fully rooted out for over 2 years. Given the strain of tragedies
Space noids.
the United Planetary League would set up rules for the use and storage of Battleroids in 2214. In 2310, the Christ Soul Orbiter.
This is another image taken from the game itself, but not necessarily fully contextually accurate. But this is just to kind of give you an idea.
Deimos would be sold. The reason? It was to be converted over the next century into humanity's first extrasolar.
There it is.
Ship. This ship would come to be known as the UESC Marathon.
He said the thing, chat.
By 2402, the manuals and pre-planning phase would be nearly complete. A short 3 years later, and it would enter its pre-construction phase. And in 2408, the conversion of Deimos would begin. The Marathon project would bring forth massive prosperity for the UESC and represent a huge leap forward for humankind. The ability to colonize other star systems would usher in a new age for humanity. But for the people of Mars, the 25th century would represent a time of war, hardship, and poverty. The Martians were not only losing their moon, but also subsisting off very limited food rations due to the failure of the Christ Soul Orbiters. This would come to a head on
Enter
January
Mida.
6th of 2442, when a riot would break out at the Mizraya Food Distribution Center. When the UEG riot troopers arrived in the Randall hovertakes, 3 armed rioters would fire at them. In only 5 seconds, 500.
Oh, yeah, I probably should have Marathon did actually successfully predict a riot of the government on January 6th. So this game, I want to be clear that the information he's pulling from for this event was in the game in 1994, I believe. So Yeah.
starving Martians would be incinerated at them. In only
Just to
30
clarify.
seconds, 500 starving Martians would be incinerated.
No
This would
relation.
lead to the start of the Third
Probably.
Martian War, which would last 4 long years before ending in the end of 2445. The extreme violence of this war would lead to 20 years of peace on Mars. Sakaguchi would develop full-body prosthetics during this time, and Traxxas would continue to
Lost.
contract with the UESC while conducting ever-growing mining operations on Mars. But this period of peace would also give birth to something new, a Martian political movement that would come to be known as MITA. Not much is known of the inner workings of this secretive movement. The name itself is not defined. They appeared to stand for the fair treatment of Martians and opposed megacorporations.
Yeah, appearances
and
can be
the
deceiving,
imposing
though.
will of the UESC. In 2465, Martians would secretly place munitions on board the Marathon, and in 2466, MITA would conduct a coup on Mars. It would only last.
Something we'll run into when we play the game is that there's a lot of like the Marathon ship itself is a very like labyrinthian structure. A lot of like the way it's designed doesn't really make sense from the perspective of like interior design, so to speak. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of like what was I gonna say, Castlevania wall chicken situations where you'll be running around hitting the interact key or shooting something and you'll realize that a wall is fake and you'll open up a secret passageway to some ammunition or a cache of weapons or whatever. And this is what the game's like lore explanation for that was. So it's a little bit diegetic in the sense of like, obviously they needed a space for you to find ammunition and weapons and stuff to continue in case like, because there are situations in the Marathon trilogy where you'll lose your guns or there are missable weapons, so to speak, like stuff like that, quote unquote, like as if you could like miss an upgrade in a Metroidvania almost. Who am I talking to? Can you guys not hear Cad?
No, I'm here. I'm just engrossed. This is
is
I do
Hammer?
not know how.
Oh, chat was just like someone. Hammer in chat was like, "You muted Cad?" No, I didn't. You asked? No, what?
I'm still here.
What is going on? Hang on. Let me open up the mixer. No, I didn't. We could hear Cad just quietly. Oh, okay. I heard that. Okay. You guys have got to stop gaslighting me, bro. It has been a week, dog. I cannot do that this week, bro. I cannot be thinking my mind is not reliable. I'm just used to seeing the Fugees. He's literally right there. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
the little raccoon guy. I'm gonna pluck my eyeballs out with spoons, bro. Oh my god. All right. Anyway, we're carrying on. Basically, there was a coup. MITA lost control of the government after holding on to it for some time. I don't know if he's covered that part yet, but we'll carry on here a second. I'll just go back so we can get back into it. Apologies for the break there in immersion.
2466, MITA would conduct a coup on Mars.
Yeah, there we
It
go.
would only last 3 short months and would go on to be considered a failure by historians. 10% of Mars' population, suspected of being loyal to the UEG, would be murdered by MITA death squads during the coup. History has since revealed that it may not have been as big of a failure as previously thought. Traxxas appears to have brokered a deal between MITA and the UESC to bring the coup to an end. In return for relinquishing their hold on the Martian government, Traxxas would provide replacements to the
I have
Christ
to get up for
Soul
just 1 second. I'll be right back, but carry on, chat. I'll explain another piece of detail coming up in a second.
Poverty on Mars, and in 2472, the marathon would be completed, only 64 years after the conversion of Deimos had begun. On November 15, 2472, the president of the UESC, Marcus Tiberius Buendia, would state in his pre-launch dedication that the marathon was the greatest achievement mankind had ever conceived. And on the very next day, the ship would begin its 300-year journey to the Tau Ceti star system. Much of the command staff and high-priority personnel would be placed in stasis during the voyage, but over 24,000 crew members would live out their entire lives on board the Marathon while it drifted through space. Their children and their children's children, who only ever knew the interior halls of the Marathon as home, would come to be known as those who were born on board, or for
Bobs.
short, Bobs. The Marathon's first science director, Bernard Strauss, would be awoken from stasis in the year 2772. And 1 year
In my defense, I'm on my phone and your dude there is wearing CAD like a jacket patch. Look, it's not my fault. He chose such a cuddly and comfortable looking avatar, okay?
It's literally from the most depressing meme I could find, too.
It's crazy how often that works together. Hi, it's me, your only Jesus Christ, guys.
I just want to sit on floor, but government says I have to make money for big corporations so I can sit on floor.
Real
It's literally
true.
the meme I got there.
So true.
The Marathon's first science director, Bernard Strauss, would be awoken from stasis in the year 2772. And 1 year later, in 2773, the Marathon would arrive in the Tau Ceti star system. By 2787, a fully functioning human colony would be established on the fourth planet in the Tau Ceti system, on the super-Earth known as Tau Ceti 4.
Thank you guys for the
Unbeknownst to anyone,
engagement.
except for possibly Bernard Strauss, one of the Marathon's 3 AI, Durandal, had gone rampant. This
There he
rampant
is. So fun.
Ben Starr.
A little bit of a fun fact here.
Durandal had gone
In the original game, and you will see this when we get to it in the game. This image is the only visual depiction of any AI that we get, like any anthropomorphized depiction for the entire trilogy. Every other time, it is just a disarticulated symbol of some kind, either for Tycho, Leela, or Durandal. And it is always like, then like it's that, and like you get the little logo, and then you get like whatever it is they're saying to you. In the pre-release like information and promotional materials, we have been seeing an image that resembles this, that cycles between all three photos of like all three colors: the red for Tycho, blue for Leela, green for Durandal. We're not sure what that implies in the community here, but we did pick up on that earlier, and I just wanted to highlight that right now, that this is sort of like the image in most people's minds when it comes to like trying to personify Durandal. And yes, they did confirm Ben Starr is Durandal in the new game. So if we find any audio logs that sound suspiciously like Clive Rossfeld, that's him.
rampant. This rampancy had
Personally,
12.
I always thought that he would have kind of a French accent since, you know, French sword, but it's fine.
Marathon's 3 AI,
Yeah.
Durandal, had gone rampant. This
Maybe he will. Who
rampancy
knows?
had led the AI to conclude that he must escape the binds that humanity had on him, so that one day he may escape the closure of the universe and become a god. Possibly armed with the top secret knowledge of the existence of sentient alien life, Durandal would utilize the Marathon's communication array to send a signal deep into space, hoping to attract a life form that would assist him in furthering his goals.
Another little piece of information that will become apparent when we play the game, but I just wanted to get it out of the way here. Durandal, Leela, and Tycho were all assigned to different segments of the ship. Based on information we've been given now in the upcoming weeks to the release of the game, we now know that there were at least 11, possibly 11 to 13 different AI constructs on board the Marathon during its journey. 3 of them were assigned to the ship itself: Durandal, Tycho, Leela. Leela was responsible for like defense articulation and communications between the colonists on board, the Bobs, the people in cryo, and the and Earth when they could send messages. The Marathon was not equipped with an FTL, like it wasn't equipped with an FTL comms array, but we'll get into that and why that matters in a bit. Tycho was responsible for science and engineering, and he was helping the colonists revise plans and information and figure out where they're going to settle and all that jazz. But Durandal, unlike the other 2, was given control over security consoles, doors, cameras, and things like plumbing, toiletry, airlocks, that kind of stuff. And basically, the problem was Durandal of the three was the smartest AI, but he was given the most menial task. And it's heavily implied that he was given this deliberately in order to force his rampancy early before the other two. We'll get into why that is and how that came to be and why specifically Durandal was chosen and all that stuff. But more or less, he goes crazy because he's forced to work an entry-level job with multiple PhDs. I just always think that that's funny.
He got bored into madness.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. He's an immortal supercomputer that was basically assigned to be the bellboy for all of eternity.
For humanity, a life
All right.
that would assist him in furthering his goals.
This is another kind of a speculative. We're not entirely sure this is the word for 4. This is just the symbol that shows up on their stuff. So we assume that that's their insignia.
It would be the 4 who received this.
Spelled with a P, by the way. PFHOR.
The 4 would attack the Marathon and the colony with the might of Yarrow technology and an army of alien slaves. Luckily for humanity,
that's me, by the way.
Mark IV cyborgs were smuggled on board the Marathon.
That one right there, specifically, that's me.
Is unknown, but their ferocity ultimately repelled the initial 4
also
invasion
me.
in Tau Ceti. During the invasion, Durandal befriended the enslaved Spit and managed to free them and capture 4 ship before leaving the system in search of Level 1. Only 3 months after the initial invasion, the 4 would return to Tau Ceti. Since then, no contact has been made with any human or AI resident of the colony or the Marathon. On November 2nd of 2795, the UESC would officially publish a memorandum indicating that contact had been lost with the colony, which was now...
Something really cool about this specific screen is the documentation that he's presenting here. All of this is from the 2023 ARG. So this was a real world piece of Adobe file that we found in the ARG. That for people in the room who didn't play the original Marathon, what is the whole premise? Oh, we're going over that right now, but to put it in a 2-sentence summary, what happens when you accidentally create a nascent super consciousness? Restart the video, please. I missed it. The long story short is humanity leaves Earth. Shit goes really bad. You got to kill a lot of aliens to keep yourself going. And along the way, you evolve your consciousness so severely that you're able to escape the end of the universe. That's the TLDR. There's a lot more that goes into it. There's a bunch of themes that play into the concepts of things like the hero with 1,000 faces and ancient heroic archetypes and what it means to be human or to be conscious, and basically an average Tuesday for a typical Bungie fan, more or less.
Referred to as New Cascadia back in Seoul. The 29th century would bring with it Project Goliath. The UESC's plan.
That was more than 2 sentences. I did my best.
On a 100
but yeah, you're right.
Journey to Tau Ceti to hopefully reestablish communication with New Cascadia.
I had a really good banger tweet about it in that was in 2 sentences, and I couldn't remember what I said.
Their technology had evolved greatly since the launch of the Marathon, and they now were able to...
That was a boomer, 2 sentences? Accurate.
Fabricated bodies you could place your consciousness within to conduct dangerous tasks. This was the new face of warfare. But Sakaguchi wasn't the only company thriving in this age. Traxxas had grown phenomenally and now accrued an amount of wealth that allowed them to rival even the UESC. All the while, displeased
you are now background music while I do analytical chemistry homework. Excellent. I'll try to be entertaining background music.
The latter half of the 29th century, and they sought to protect humanity's newest planet from the corporate greed and authoritarian government of Mars.
Okay, I need to be clear about something.
All the while, crude and money thriving in this age. Traxxas had grown phenomenally, and
he's gonna say something, and I'll pause as soon as I get to it.
Even the UESC. All the while, displeased members of MITA, which had...
Okay, specifically what he's gonna say about MITA, I'm gonna get into right here. because this is a big point that is often subtly communicated in the games and is very easy to miss.
An underground terrorist network foresaw the incoming Cold War of the latter half of the 29th century, and they sought to protect humanity's newest planet from the corporate greed and authoritarian government of Mars.
Yeah, so Mida Multi-Tool in Destiny and Mida Mini-Tool in Destiny and the Mida Macro Tool as well, the shotgun that recently came out. These weapons are actually from the Marathon universe. That's also incidentally why they look so different from basically everything else in the game. They share some like similarities, like bullpup scout rifle or like magazine in the stock or in the hand grip of the mini tool. They share like some like superfluous similarities with a lot of the other like gun models, but there's a reason why they stand out specifically and why they have synergies with each other. Mida was for those of you that are just tuning in, Mida was a splinter political group on Mars in the Marathon universe. They went through a coup after specific pressures from the Unified Earth government's efforts to continue expansion and colonization, put a lot of pressure on the Martian government and the Martian people. People were starving. The system, they used a system called the Christ, which was a small moon or a small asteroid that would be retrofitted, hollowed out, and then used as basically a giant space cargo truck. And you would fling those around the solar system using the gravity of the different planets to sort of slingshot them at high speeds. You'd reload them, send them back out. The problem was that this system was incredibly difficult and costly to maintain. And whenever a Christ broke down, it was basically gone for good. They made 5 of them in total. And the the Mida folks in particular wanted to make an argument that they should use Deimos as the 6th. The UESC wanted to use it to make the Marathon. They had a big disagreement over it. It became a war. It became a big problem. A bunch of people died. But specifically what I'm getting into with Mida here is that what he is saying about Mida being a terrorist organization that is proposed to anarchy and all this other stuff is like, oh, we got to turn it over. We're not sure that that's accurate. There is a hypothesis that Mida was actually always a splinter group, basically the CIA of the UESC, and that they deliberately destabilized the Martian government to create the situation that would allow them to use Deimos to create the Marathon. The reason for this is because all the way back here at the beginning of the video, when they were talking about like Bill Clinton and fucking the Pathways into Darkness plot, we think what happened was that the government back then, when they were and are arguably possibly even earlier than this if we're counting myth, but we're not going to do that for tonight. The government started hatching a plan back then in order to forcibly evolve humanity, to forcibly push humanity's technology forward, to get to Tau City 4, to get to these other places that they had become aware that the Yarrow had a presence on, because they still had some of the Yarrow tech from the events of Pathways into Darkness. We're going to get into it, but that's so we think might just be the Illuminati. They might not actually be like this fringe freedom fighter group that is labeled as terrorists by the USC. They might not actually be like the Anarchy Reigns aesthetic faction that they're being promoted as in the current marketing stuff and the current lead up into this new game.
Combined would lead to a race to get to Tau Ceti. Mida, Traxxas, the UESC, and surely other interested parties would spend the better part of the 2800s traveling through the depths of space to reach the lost colony. This unspoken Cold War-style conflict would come to a head in May of 2888. On May 23rd, Traxxas would submit a purchase order to Sekaguchi for a sizable number of biomata. This order would also secretly include a request for 5 P-Series clones, a brand new model which had been hidden from the UESC and the public at large.
We don't know what that means yet. We think it might have something. It might be a similar situation to like regular cyborgs versus battleroids, but we don't know. We have no idea what the P series stands for. We don't know what the P stands for.
On May 24th, Mida would publicly release a zine that served as a manifesto and revealed certain details of the UESC and Traxxas' operations through ciphers and coded language. On this same day, Traxxas would amend their purchase order for the P-Series drones. On May 25th, Sakaguchi would suspiciously experience a severe plumbing malfunction on the 149th floor of Sakaguchi Tower. This would result in maintenance not being completed for 24 hours. Meanwhile, on Mars, Site B01 of the Traxxas Oxia Pulse mining operation would collapse. Traxxas's official statement would hide the true number of deaths and be utilized as a marketing opportunity for the efficacy of biomata in the workplace. In the early morning of May
there's a possibility. There's a possibility we have actually seen this event occurring in one of the more recent marathon trailers. There is a shot. I'll have to find it, but there's a shot of a massive drill, and we think that it's either drilling into Deimos in order to make the marathon, in order to hollow out the moon for that, or it's this event or the lead up to this event occurring. We don't know for sure yet, though. The drill is branded with the Traxxas logo, which is why we know it's Traxxas. But other than that, it's anybody's guess exactly what's going on.
Deaths and be utilized as a marketing opportunity for the efficacy of biomata in the workplace.
Swap in John and make a marathon symbol.
Yoshido Tamura, Sakaguchi's UESC order handler, would be out of the office for 3 hours. The very next day, the UESC would request to review Traxxas's purchase order, which included the hidden request for P-Series clones. Shortly thereafter, Traxxas would wipe its board of directors chat logs. Following this, the website hosting
this information was all in the 2023 ARG. The 2020 this was, I believe, this was made before the 2025 ARG picked back up from where that left off. And we're actually starting to see rumblings of the 2026 ARG beginning. And I'll show you guys that in a minute before we get into, we're almost done with this video. I'll show you guys that in a minute before we get into the actual games in just a sec. So we're just going to take this first little chunk to just sort of set the stage.
Zine would be seized by the UESC and shut down. On the morning of May 28th, Sakaguchi would announce company-wide that Yoshida Tamura had been fired. These events would set the stage for the hostility that would play out once these parties would arrive in Tau Ceti. In 2893, UESC reconnaissance satellites would arrive in Tau Ceti. This same year would see the start of runner operations on Tau Ceti 4. Runners are mercenaries who utilize biomata.
That's you, Chad. Not me, though. I'm different. You guys are going to die on Tau Ceti. I'm different, though. I'm getting out.
Environments. The UESC would capture 5 videos from Tau Ceti. From these, they would learn that something terrible had happened at the colony, that the marathon was nearly destroyed, that Traxxas had their own runners who were utilizing advanced biomata, and that some unknown presence was lurking in the shadows of what used to be humanity's greatest achievement. The future is unwritten, so who among you will write your name across the stars?
All right, so there's the essential. This came out on the 30th birthday of Marathon, which is pretty cool. Big credit to Jake the All Right. Big credit to Hamish Sinclair. Hamish Sinclair is the guy that runs the original Marathon forums for the story. That's marathon.bungie.org/story. It is one of the most fascinating websites still on the internet from that era. It is a perfect example of the old internet that I like to talk about all the time here on this channel, and how things were different then. The forums you had much more of an esoteric identity to how the internet was handled. There was only so many people on the internet. Not everybody had it in their pocket. Not everybody had it in their house. It was a place you had to go to physically to sit down in your home and access. And so this website run by Hamish Sinclair is an absolute relic. I think it should be in the Library of Congress. It's that cool. And big credit to Detrea, the musician, for the remix of the Marathon OST that is used here. It was in the original reveal trailer for the game back in 2023, I believe, and it's a remix of that. Grid Heroes are actually going to get Marathon. I mean, I'm getting it. I know a bunch of people I'm going to be running with next week are getting it. So
I've got it.
Exactly.
Pre-order was
there
completed.
you go.
Pre-order was
There you go,
completed when
Chad.
the last trailer came out.
Yeah,
kind of
I'll
saw
tell
everything,
you,
I was just like, okay.
not to be that guy, but I was skeptical about the potential for this game during the controversies and throughout the development. I know it's been rocky. They've changed heads a couple of times. They've swapped people in and out. The general like pitch, the ballsiness of the pitch to be like, yeah, this thing that we knew as a legendary game that revolutionized storytelling in gaming, specifically in FPS games, and did so barely a couple of years after Doom did like existed. We're gonna try and change that fundamentally. That's a big ask for the fans of the series. I was, again, like I said, I was skeptical at first. I've gotten the chance to play the game. I did buy the deluxe edition, but hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I just bought the deluxe edition because it's only the price of a regular full price game. It's just like Arc Raiders. I could have bought Arc Raiders for 40. I spent 60 because I wanted to support the title. I believe in the product. I thought it was a good game. I have some gripes with Arc Raiders that I could talk about later, but I think my situation with Marathon will be much the same here soon. So that's
We'll be
the
right back.
yeah. By all means, take your time. I'll go over some stuff with the boys here in chat. Here's the full timeline website. That is this page, I believe. Did they have this? Is this the wrong one? Is this the right one? Okay, so this is the established one. This is the one that goes over the content of this video. This is not marathon.bungie.org. I'm gonna show you guys this website right now, taoseti.world. This is what we believe to be the next phase of the ARG. If you look in here and explore the colony, you can go to the 3 of the 4 confirmed maps in the game right now. And this will give you a technical readout of the different maps. It is 3-dimensional. It is fully rotatable. It is not fully like pitchable in terms of like the what would you call this? The x-axis rotation, I suppose. Are you saying we can't go to the marathon? No. You go. So they've already shown it off, so I can talk about it now. The 4th and final map at launch is on board the marathon. It is on the first floor, so to speak, and it's called the Cryo Archive. Right now, we can only explore these 3. However, they recently added multiple tabs to this website, so we think that sometime before launch, there may be something going on that will allow us to see into the ship or see additional stuff. If we go over here, you'll be able to see there's actual like POIs. If you click on this, it's got like a simulation essentially of runners in progress. So like this is a point of interest. This is some kind of display. It is actually like a GIF that plays and stuff like that. If you look here closely, there's actually the tail end of a UUID code. That's a unique user identification or unique. I forget what the other acronym for that is, but basically there was a little scavenger hunt in here where you could put together pieces of a code that would allow you to redeem a contract on the Marathon official Discord. Right over here, you'll see this is simulating a dead crew that just got wiped out by the UESC guys. The little these little 3, these are recruits. Where's the actual? Yeah, these little squares are the actual simulated crews. And you'll see they'll head into different points of interest and stuff like this. This gives little like lore blurbs about different parts of the maps and what they are and what they were for and what they were intended to be. I have to be careful here because like I said, I signed an NDA, so I can't talk exactly about everything I've already played with the game, but I can talk about what's in here. This one is really interesting because this is an X-ray of a colonist's hand. There was a fungal contaminant that got released at some point during the colony being established and now, and it did something to the colonists that they were trying to study and figure out. If we go to Dire Marsh, we actually find out more about that because they believe that the fungus was connected to the anomalous structure that's shown up here in the middle of Dire Marsh. This is a person that got, well, it's listed as suspended biomass, but it was a person at one point that got exposed to the anomaly and got. Unidentified energy pattern has cut through the marsh, leaving a visible distortion across the terrain. Its origin and behavior remain unknown, and its presence has drawn increasing attention from both runners and the UESC. Something interesting about this page specifically, and I'm going to kick the music back on here too, just so we have a little bit of atmosphere. This is not playing in the webpage. This is just me playing it at the top there through my own browser. An EP like first look at the soundtrack has come out. If you guys want to check that out, it's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all everywhere you would expect it to be. But yeah, this is a cool little thing. We knew when this dropped a couple weeks ago, we knew this was going to get expanded upon and expounded upon, because in the first phases of the ARG, that's exactly what happened originally as well. Part of it was like people uncovering stuff, and part of it was just Bungie updating it with new information over time as part of the ARG. So like in the other phases, things like uesc.io. This one is now quote unquote down. They actually took this website down as part of the ARG, that phase being completed. So there's the connection's lost. We no longer have access to this. We cannot use the login information that we were able to find in the previous phase of the ARG. So yeah, one more thing we'll do is we'll take a look at Outpost. This is the newer map they've started showing off. This is kind of a more PvP focus. Like all the game is like PvEVP, but this is a smaller map with much tighter confines and like a lot of indoor space. So you are going to be getting into fights here a lot more often and a lot more like intensely, because it's a small, tight map. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably about the size of, if you ever played Halo, probably about the size of Sidewinder or Containment from Halo 3, maybe a little bit bigger. Not Containment. What was the word? What was the Sidewinder? I think Sidewinder is what it's called in Halo CE, but it's about that size. So it's big for a Halo map, but very not big for an extraction shooter map. Also, Kat, I don't know if you're back, but I've been yapping and vamping for the last few minutes.
I've been here.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure, because I saw you flashing just a little bit, but I didn't want to cut you off if you were trying to say something.
Yeah, I was adjusting my gain because I think it was catching.
Gotcha. Rust from Call. It's bigger than Rust. It's definitely bigger than Rust. If I was gonna go by a Call of Duty map, honestly, it's bigger. It's bigger than most Call of Duty maps, I would say. But it's not. I don't want to give like the wrong implication. It's not like massive. It's not like a. It's like a small. It's like a Rush-sized Battlefield map. That's a good way to put it. It's about the size of a Rush map, maybe a little smaller. But it's also very vertical. So what this is it's a this was one of the places where the UESC has touched down after arriving at Tau Ceti and is trying to establish a foothold in order to figure out what the hell is going on. Something blew up this wing of their little structure here. We call this the pinwheel. This is a locked structure. It has multiple ways to get into it. As far as I can tell, I don't know if they actually don't. Again, I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. Bigger than high rise, yeah. If you look on here, like you'll see, like, hang on, let me see where I can find a little guy. I'll get rid of this and this. There we go. So you can see like you can like, this is obviously like not to scale in terms of the size of these blips, but you can get around here relatively quickly. There is publicly available gameplay on like Marathon's YouTube channel and stuff like that, where you can see this map and see about how long it takes to get around. But recently I wanted to just show this. Like, I don't really have too much to get into about Outpost. You're going to be scrapping here is essentially the long and short of it. And this is where you're going to start to get like more of the information lore wise about like what's going on with the UESC's presence specifically. Moving on, I wanted to show off this segment, which is new, and this segment, which is new. Now, I'll get into this in a second and what this is specifically. This is a list of like some of the weapons in the game. This is there's 28 confirmed guns so far as it shows here. There's only 8 of them available here. This is like this will show you like little gameplay stuff of them and stuff like that, and how they fire and how they work. But you guys can go through this at kind of your leisure. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that's in here. There's an AR equivalent. This has 2 different sights on it. It has got an iron sight and it's got a flip up that I think is let me see if I can find the video of it. It doesn't show it. Yeah, it doesn't show any of the cosmetics for this one, but this is the baseline skin. There is other weapon skins that are like showable and stuff like that you can see in here. The game also has weapon charms and stickers and crap like that if you care about it. I think it's a 3x. Yes, I believe it is. If I have to, let me see if I can find something with the site flipped up. I don't think this is gonna have it. But yeah, that little yellow thing on the side is a flip up zoom sight. You can, I believe you hold reload and it toggles up. There might be like a mappable or assignable, like additional weapon action key as well. I don't remember. But then there's the Magnum. It's very much in the spirit of the Halo Magnum. It is not exactly as the Halo Magnum. It doesn't fire exactly as the Halo Magnum does. But it is, the guns in this game are modifiable, and you can do things to this gun that get it very, very, very close to that feeling. You have like a little thing, like indicate a little sound file. This one was interesting when we found this in the community, because stuff like this historically in the ARG has had connotations and like hidden sounds and stuff like that. So people have been dissecting this and other little things like that in the game. This one's not available. This one's not available. This one's not available. We don't know how to get these available yet. This is the twin tap. This is the heavy battle rifle, I believe. I don't think this is the actual 3-burst one. I believe this one's the 2-burst. Yeah, this is a 2-burst, essentially scout rifle. This is the battle rifle equivalent, a la Halo. This one is, I guess the closest thing would be like a double shot pulse in Destiny. Here's a snipe. This is the long shot. This is one of the 3 confirmed sniper rifles that they've shown off. It's, you know, it's a sniper rifle. 1 taps, it hits hard. This has, I believe it has a few different scopes you can fit it with. This is the double barrel. This is the Waster Combat Shotgun. This is based on one of the greatest weapons ever made in a video game, period.com. I don't know, for those of you that know, I don't know if this will be dual wieldable like the Marathon 2 ones are. But we have not seen any gold mod or like exotic mod for this yet. For those of you that don't know, the game has different weapon mods. Certain mods are exclusive to certain guns, and specifically exotic or gold mods, as they've been calling them, change the behavior of specific guns when you equip them. So we don't know if maybe this one will come with a dual wielder mod. Maybe. I think it would be the strongest gun in the game if they do that in terms of like in close range, but you know, who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But you know, it's a double barrel. It fires exactly how you would think it is. It punches, it fucks. I fuck with this thing heavy. Marathon is if you've played Arc Raiders, Marathon is like that. It's a PvP game, but you play it in a PvE world. Like you drop into a map, there are other enemies controlled by the game, NPC enemies that you have to contend with and fight and maneuver around while you're also dealing with other players at the same time. The maps are fairly large, so like you know, you have a little breathing room. You can take your time and make space, so to speak, before you get into a fight, but you will be getting into fights with other people. It is not really like Arc Raiders where you can kind of talk your way out of it, or people are really incentivized to not fight. You're going to be scrapping. This is the Bully. This thing is pretty cool. It's a menace. It's real hard. Fires heavy ammo for anybody wondering. That's why it sounds like that. It has kind of a slower fire rate, but like I said, it fucks. This is the Zeus. This is a railgun. I don't think they showed off the fusion pistol in the trailer, but it's not like in here, so I won't talk about it for now. Works exactly how you would think. It's like a mid-range, big hitting damage weapon. I think that it can one-tap people to the head, I believe, or it'll at least leave them absolute if it doesn't kill them.
And the sound team does not miss.
Bro, they posted a clip of the audio on the Twitter today. I was mad at myself for how good it sounded. I was mad that I don't have better headphones yet, because I was like, man, I could sound horror on this shit so hard. And last but not least, this is the last one they've shown off in this so far. Like I said, we're not sure yet how you go about getting more guns to show up, or whether or not they'll be adding them in the days leading up to release or not. This is the BR equivalent. It's a BR. Pay no attention to the fact that this dude got wasted. But it fires a 3-round burst. It feels pretty good. I didn't play with this very much in the alpha, but the little bit that I did get my hands on it, it was kind of rarer to find this, I guess, from what I experienced. But it felt pretty good. It felt pretty solid. Like it shoots true. A lot of the quality of a gun in a PvP game like this is like, does this damn thing shoot straight? Does it fire? And I can report that all of the guns felt good to use, even if I didn't necessarily find a role for everybody yet. I don't know. I just don't know if I didn't have enough time yet. All right. This thing is a personality test, basically. I'm going to throw something in here. I'm going to hopefully not get myself in trouble by throwing this in here. You're not supposed to share this image with anybody, but the DAC that it's talking about is a digital access card that is given to you as part of the, we're not going to use camera recognition, as part of the ARG in the Discord server, Marathon's official Discord server. I'm not going to go through this right now. I already went through it earlier today. I made a tweet about it, but it's basically you do 20 questions and it gives you a faction based, like it assigns you to a faction that you would likely have affinity with based on your answers. That's the TLDR. So that's where we're at so far with this segment of the promotional material / ARG. There's a bunch of other gameplay out there. There's a bunch of other like Vidocs and first looks and full gameplay sessions and stuff like that officially on Bungie's channel. If you go to Marathon the game, over here, they just uploaded a Vidoc about the music. I might be down to watch this in a bit if you are, Cad. But I do want to get to playing the game. Fuck it, we'll watch it. We got some time. The Marathon games are relatively short too, in terms of like the original ones. There is one other thing I want to take a look at tonight, if possible, before bedtime, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, there's a full gameplay here that got uploaded like 8 hours ago. There's another gameplay trailer. There's a bunch of clips. There's a bunch of stuff. So if you're interested, like they've been posting cinematics, additional cinematics featuring the different runner shell like archetypes. There's like first looks. There's all kinds of stuff on here about the game. And there's also this, which we'll watch right now, and then we'll go play some games.
To be able to get in on the ground level of a process of
I need to
worlds was really intoxicating. And so I was like, what better way to start than with Bungie?
This dude's got some crazy glasses on, by the way. I don't know if y'all saw that, chat. I kind of blurred the screen there by accident earlier. Hang on, I'm gonna put this up. This dude has got some crazy spectacles going on. He can see the sounds.
Really intoxicating. And so I was like, what better way to start than with Bungie?
Unlike maybe more traditional story-driven games, I think we were really kind of challenged with, hey, what is our kind of star in this, and how do we kind of base our audio approach or musical approach? And I think one thing we kind of landed on was we're really telling the story of Tau Ceti, the planet, the history that it has. There is no central protagonist, where we can kind of say, like, this is the hero's theme. Our hero is the world.
So there's that, we just talked about it. This is that destroyed segment of Outpost. This also gives you an idea of the scale. There's 3 runners right here. So it's still a large space, and it's vertically layered. So there's a lot of like, the space is duplicated in terms of like total like surface area multiple times. Like there's a level underneath this that you can't see right here, but there's a building here you can go in, and there's a bunch of stuff down there, and all the way over there, that's the other arm of the pinwheel. You can go in that, etc., etc. So it's still a fairly like decently sized map. It's not like, don't be like, it looks smaller than the other two because it is, but it's not. It's dense, I should say, is the word we can use. Also, like, can we like? I've been seeing some tweets talking about this game looking like a Roblox game. If you find me a game in Roblox that looks like this shit right here, that looks like this shit right here, that looks like
doesn't have
this shit right here, you send that shit to me, dog, because I don't fucking believe you. I do not believe you. Roblox and Concord 3. Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's so funny to me. They called it Concord 2 until Highguard came out, and they realized that was like an actual flop. That game was like actual, like a problem when it dropped. They're like, oh, damn, we might have to change okay, Marathon's Concord 3, guys. We're changing it to Concord 3 now. that's gonna flop just like this is gonna flop just like Highguard did. It's like, come on, dude, be fucking for real. Like, just be like, I know you don't want to like Bungie. I get it. They fucked up a lot, especially in the last couple of years, especially within the development cycle of this game with the art controversy and the controversial leadership leaving and all that other jazz and the layoffs. I get it. But can we be like just a little bit more honest and this is a little better than our fucking Roblox guy? Like, can we be honest for a second, guys? Like, come on. Sorry, Kat. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had a whole spiel.
No, you're fine. People are just allergic to fun. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, game looks great. I'm very happy that they took another pass at the lighting. I said it a couple months ago after the test, and one of my feedback points publicly was I want them to get the game to look as close to like the cinematic shorts as they can, and they have taken big strides to that. Obviously, this game has to run on a console. It has to run on most average PCs in order to, get people to actually get on it and play it. It can't only run on supercomputers and like 5090 dual SLI setups and shit like that. So I'm glad to see that they took another pass at it. They definitely listened to a lot of feedback about like the grittiness of the world and the sort of sterility of it, not really matching up with what we were shown earlier, et cetera, et cetera. And it's nice to see that it's been updated. I think it looks really nice. I understand that it's not going to be for everybody, the specific like aesthetic style, but I think that like this is what I would call like a plausible far future. I could see humanity becoming this garish and shit like that. You got an Iris Xe in my laptop? Oh, damn. Yeah, you got that thing is definitely for chemistry homework only. I apologize there, Nightwing. Damn, that's crazy.
I love that feeling of like it being both neon and also like kind of crusty and falling apart at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. The definitely look way better than the original trailer. Yeah, exactly.
Like to me, that
I gotta hand it to Bungie just in general, on two fronts, because one of the reasons I want this game to take off and actually do well is because this is a game made for current hardware. They don't have the ball and chain that is PlayStation 4 port like they do with Destiny 2. And the second thing is just in general, they know how to do post-apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
There have been so many post-apocalyptic open world looter shooter games, and aside from like maybe Borderlands having its own audience and being really well done, like Forspoken. Think about Forspoken. You ever play Forspoken? That's a post-apocalyptic open world half-ass looter shooter, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but oh my god, Breath of the Wild with parkour. It's just
Yep. And I think that's actually a point you're touching on there that I think is like a lot of people don't understand or seem to not understand that, like, for all the many faults of Destiny as a franchise, Forspoken was in fact a post-apocalypse game. You might not have known that given the way that it was presented, but yeah, that was allegedly supposed to be a situation where you were showing up and shit was fucked and had been gone real bad.
Yeah, it was pretty much Hateno Village. But it's just centralized in one place. The rest of the entire fucking world is just a wasteland of crystalline creatures.
Yep.
It was okay until I realized that the only like intelligent life out there were the bitches you had to beat up at every point.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I wanted to like that game a lot more than I ended up, because I played it a little bit. I never finished it, but I wanted to like that a lot more than I ended up liking it. And I think part of the problem was like, this is gonna sound maybe a little meaner spirited than I mean it to be, but that was like a you rent that for a weekend from Hollywood Video and you forget to finish it in the weekend type game for me. Like you don't get it from Blockbuster because you don't want to spend full price. You get it on discount at Hollywood Video, and it was like,
The writing was half first person youth novel, and half actual like conscious epic.
Yeah, it was like,
if you look past the youth novel stuff, like I honestly, dead ass, go like get yourself a New Game Plus file and just blaze through the story, and you'll appreciate what they were trying to do. But just don't don't fuck with the grind. It's off. It's so bad. I feel bad that the studio got nuked because of it, but still.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate.
But
Like I want to be clear. Like I might make my little like jabs at stuff like that doesn't succeed, but I always feel bad knowing that there was people behind that maybe if they were led better, they would have produced something better. Maybe it was and I'm gonna be completely real. Sometimes something fails because you didn't have the talent to bring it forth in the way that it would have succeeded, and that's okay to admit. I think a huge problem in the industry right now is people's egos get bruised and they don't want to admit when they made something that wasn't good enough to compete or wasn't really good enough to even garner attention, so to speak. I think High Guard is a really good example of that right now. I like things about High Guard. I don't like it as a whole, and I think it's a poorly optimized, poorly performing title that is trying to be too many things and is trying to dip into too many aesthetics and too many, like, it's got too many cooks in the kitchen all doing something different, and the result is just like bleh. It's just a bleh loaf of bread. It's edible, but you're not going to that for sustenance. And I think that, like, if there had been at any point in the development of High Guard a real gut check where they were like, we need to, like, does this work? Is this actually, like, by an objective measure of some kind, good? I think they would have been able to pull out it. And what's funny about Marathon is I think they had that. I think they got that moment when it got shown to the world and everybody and their dad was chewing on it and like spitting it out and rolling it over and being like, oh, this, and oh, that, and oh, 24. And then they additionally, they had the art controversy as well, which was a huge problem. I'm a very big, like, I'm huge about giving people credit for their work. I'm very, like, personal about that. That hits somewhere close to home for me. I always try to, like, tag everybody that I collaborate with. If I make a video, I'm always like, hey, this person was there, that person was there. Go follow them. Go do this. Go do that. And I'm not just doing that. I actually believe in doing that from a point of principle, but also because I think it's like, it's genuinely the right thing to do. And so when I heard about that, that was a big, like, that would have been a deal breaker for me if they didn't fix that. And I knew they were going to have to fix it, and I was almost certain they were going to have to delay it to fix it. So I'm glad that they really did bite the bullet on that, because it would have been very, very, very easy for them to take the corpo stance and go, well, fuck it, we're putting it out. We'll throw them a check and we're putting it out as it is. But they didn't do that, and I know it's the bare minimum to do, but they did do it. So I will credit them for that. But yeah, no, like them getting a second pass at this, because I do think that there was a lot of good in the original, like, vision for the game, but it was just, there was too much in the way for people to see that and for it to really bring itself forth. So I'm glad to see, like, hearing this and hearing them talk about it creatively and then talk about the process and really get into the nitty gritty of, like, yeah, no, we wanted it to be communicated that this world has a sense of realism to it that can grab you. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll stop yapping. That was a good little, like, 10-minute pause out of a minute of footage. I'm going to go back to his big glasses. We'll watch the next little snippet, and I'll probably yap for another 5. Also, thank you for the Awoo DJ. Also, DJ! Good to see you too, buddy.
That has a sound.
Yeah, there's the flip up sight there on the M77. So there's the regular one, and I think that's probably like a 1.5 to 2x. I don't think that's 3. That's pretty far still for a 3 zoom.
Something that was really
It might be the case. Honestly, I didn't even think about this, but it might be the case you can swap the sight. I don't know.
about the concept of the game was that you relinquish your human body for a runner shell. You hold on to your soul. You take you with you, but you leave your body behind. I thought, what better way than to, like, take the human voice, which is like the soul of your person, and transform it into these playable instruments. These like these little recitations. It's almost like they're a code, like some sort of transmission,
Yeah, I see them talking like this, and I cannot help but see, like, a piece of old Bungie in it. Because if you go back and watch the Vidocs, the passion, like, is exactly the same. Like, they're so into the process of creating, and they're so and they're so into, like, the minutia of it, of trying to find new ground to create in, It's very, very similar. Like, you go watch a Halo 2 Vidoc, a Halo 3 Vidoc. A very similar feel and theme. And okay, fair play. Obviously, from a corporate perspective, if you were trying to market the game made by the creators of Halo and Destiny, that's what you would do. You would dress it up visually, this like what is essentially a commercial. Like, let's be real. You would dress that up as it was made in the old ways, because that's what people resonated with. But I'll be honest, even the awareness to do that is a good sign, because it means you are at least trying to wear the trappings of that passionate creativity.
It's like what's left over. It's like what's left over from this colony that's disappeared. I was inspired by these natural environments full of like bugs that are half mechanical and have escaped from the lab, or like, you know, things that create kind of creaks and whispers.
Oh, the ticks. That's right. Yeah, those were in the original game
You know,
too. We'll run into those in a minute.
One of the things that I did early on was this piano that's behind me is prepared with all kinds of crazy stuff stuffed inside of it. The primary way that I modify the piano is just with poster tack, like poster putty. And depending on where you put it on the instrument, you can get different colors, more muted. Sounds crazy.
This is the exact kind of psychopath I would want making a soundtrack for a game like this.
Dude literally hit the Mario cadence like 4 times dude. That. Like, good lord.
Distortion, human performance.
You can see code and melody of existence.
An essential resource. That instrument felt like a really fun place to start when designing a very high-tech score. You know, this I use a lot in a section of the score for the game. You can hear that sort of fluttering instrument. One of my most
I would have told you he makes sci-fi music even if I didn't know his profession.
And it's an MPE controller. So
interesting thing here is that this chord he's playing, actually, like this progression he's playing, is, if I didn't know any better, I'm assuming this is the exact same progression you're gonna get when we boot up the original like Marathon game, and it plays the grrr, wom, like that, like old, like crunchy 90s Macintosh progression. I think it might be just essentially he just read that off and played it on a new instrument here. Obviously the actual track itself is longer than those two notes, but like, I don't know, man, like that, again, if you were going to do like a spiritual successor type setup and you were going to present it such that like you wanted to make sure people that were super fans were aware that you are aware, this is what you would do. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, again, it could all just be smoke and mirrors. It could all just be corpo, like, all right, get the fucking fans hooked in. We need them to buy the game. But like, I think that this is coming from a position of like genuine passion as well. Because it can, two things can be true.
It's called an Osmos, and it's an MPE controller. So basically, it enables you to do a huge number of expressive things,
especially on the low end here. Like on the low, it's like piano, like almost 1-to-1.
This is so responsive to touch, to motion.
Reminds you of the one dude from Ready Player One. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I'm just like looking for the emotion in every little thing. And I think ultimately that's what it is. You know, it's like I'm painting with feelings.
Burn the Boats. Like, also the track titles are really interesting to me because like they're very much on brand for like the theme of what the game is. Like even the word marathon, like the legend of marathon is there was a battle. They won the battle. A dude ran from I think it was Athens to Thebes or whatever. It was some distance in ancient Greece that was the distance of a marathon today, 26.2 miles, I believe. And the idea was he sprinted the whole thing, and because he ran too fast, he arrived, delivered the message, and collapsed dead. And so like, from a thematic perspective, the name of the game being Marathon, and it's about this ship that goes out into the cosmos, and humanity gets kind of out ahead of itself in terms of its pacing and arrives at this place to explore and expand and learn and greet the cosmos, and they're getting ahead of themselves. They're not actually ready for this shit, and they get got by the Four and by the horrors of the universe at large, and it becomes a ghost ship now in the modern game. There's some differences in the main original plot and what's probably going on here, but like it comes under attack and essentially dies in orbit, and it's this corpse above humanity. Humanity's greatest achievement goes from this thing that's going out to this corpse, this epitaph floating through the cosmos. I will admit the deep lore of Marathon is very intriguing. I welcome the more of that. I'm honest, I truly wish the game was anything but an extraction shooter because it's the one genre I'm not going to try and get involved in. I've heard that so many times from so many people, Shadow, and I agree with you with the caveat. And I'm not trying to sell you on the game here, but I'm just trying to give you my perspective. I agree with you. The original Marathon games were they had a campaign and multiplayer, and the story was told to you through the campaign almost exclusively. There's little things in the multiplayer that kind of hint at things that happen in the single player, and we might get some time to deal with that in the coming week. But my counterpoint to that, not to counter you specifically, but my counterpoint to that concept is that the interesting thing about Marathon is that it's the first shooter and one of the first games of its kind, period, to try to do this with a storytelling perspective, to try to do more than just, oh, you are hero man, they are bad guy, shoot bad guy, kill bad guy, jump on bad guy, stomp the Goomba, etc., etc. Like Mario had a very basic story when it came out. Other contemporaries like Doom and stuff like that had very, very basic premises. There was nobody quoting fucking Plutarch in the days that Marathon came out in video games. There was nobody quoting Borges in the days that Marathon came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no like super introspective, super deep, esoteric. There was nobody making references to Kabbalah in the age that Marathon came out. When you play certain games nowadays, you play like Deus Ex, or you play other like games that go to that sort of place of like, oh, we have a conspiracy or we have a creepy story we want to tell. You will see elements like that, but Marathon precedes all of them by like at best a year, 3 years, 4 years for like Deus Ex, and like decades for everybody else. And so my argument is not that it shouldn't be a single player game. My interest is, by bringing this franchise back in the way that they are, can they do what they did for shooters all the way back in like 94, 95, arguably 1993 if we're going with Pathways? Or could they bring that to like the extraction shooter or the like looter shooter extraction-y BR space in general? Because like extraction shooter is like a weird term anyway. It's like got the pieces of a battle royale, it's got pieces of an arena shooter, it's got all these little like disparate parts, and then like the main focus of the game as well is like messing with menus on top of that. So it's hard to even define. I made a tweet the other day that got a little bit of traction where it was I argued that the original Marathon was technically a single player extraction shooter because of the structure of the game, and you guys will see that here in a minute. But obviously, I'm stretching the definition there, but you know, I was just shitposting on Twitter. It got a little traction. Some people were very upset that I said that, but it is what it is. Some people were very not happy. I was like, oh, I'm getting called slurs again. Let's go.
I'm gonna send you something in your DMs.
Sure.
And want to know how you feel about this.
Sure thing. So yeah, there's 4 tracks right now that you can check out for the Marathon. There's a bunch of other stuff here that you guys can check into on the channel, and go check out Jake the All Right. Drop him a follow if you haven't already. I'm going to get into the actual games now here in just a minute. Let me see. I'm actually going to do something I probably should not do, but I'm going to look it up anyway. I'm not going to do it like live or anything. I'll check that DM in just a second, Cat. I can't spell, man. Jesus Christ. Pat. Jesus, what the hell was I even attempting to say there? 10 hours. I don't think I can do this in 10 hours.
Gonna petition for John to become the Marathon Bife.
I'm not entirely opposed to that. My only problem with that is twofold. Number one, I've made some jokes about it in the community and at large, like on stream a couple of times. I'm deadly serious when I tell people I want to be the rank 1 runner in this game. I want to be the best, not top 5, not top 500, rank 1. So there's a time commitment that comes with that I don't know if I'll be able to actually put into, but I'm certainly going to try. But also my only other caveat to that is like, I feel like there are people that are far more qualified. I know a lot about marathon lore, and I would say I probably know more than a lot of like marathon lore heads about the actual peripheral inspirations, like Luis Borges, the philosophies and stuff that go into marathon. Because I read a lot of that shit when I was growing up with the games, and I know that a lot of people might like have cursory examinations of it in the community, but didn't actually like go read it. And I did read and listen to and watch and go and find. I was crawling these marathon.bungie.org. I was crawling the forums in the 90s trying to find these primary sources that people were talking about, that had inspired the game's writing and storytelling style and specific elements of the story. There's a story called The Aleph that is about a guy who finds this thing in his basement that is a portal to all points in reality at once, and you can basically spectator mode reality through this, and it's this incredibly dense pivot of information. And that's basically, and like the game is called, like the modern version of the game is running on what's called Aleph 1. So like there's all these connections and all these things that it's like a weird feedback loop because the fans helped make that project, but then Bungie helped publish it and get it out there, and they made the game freeware, but then they also like still own the rights. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole super interesting, super dense. I highly recommend, if you guys are going to get into it, check out the website. But yeah, like I feel like there are people maybe better qualified to do that kind of stuff. I do want to do some stuff like that, and I will be doing a review of the game that includes an exploration into the narrative when it drops. So if you guys are actually interested in that kind of stuff, it'll be really great if you support that when it drops. If not, that's also fine too. But like a lot of what I'm doing in the next like 6 months to a year is just grinding this game. Just noticing John's little guy looking like, yeah, somebody said I was wearing him in my pocket or something earlier. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and boot up a game now, and we'll play a little bit. And Cad, by any means, if you have any question, I'm gonna stream it to the Discord as well, so it's real time for you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, oh, you got the same as me. How about that? Let's go. For those of you that don't know, if you're cool with this, Cad, I'll tell them. Cad sent me the
Yeah.
He sent me the a DM of the faction he got assigned to by the little personality quiz thing on taoseti.world. He got the same one as me. He got Arachne, which is the death cult in the game. And their whole thing is that their quests and their contracts are all about PvP. So you're not like, you pick up an Arachne contract, you're not collecting like 3 glorp shits and extracting. You're killing a motherfucker, and you're taking his shit and you're killing another motherfucker with it. That's the quest. It's not no little like, oh, Mida wants you to like plant a bomb to blow up this. No, you're killing other runners. You're killing people. That's what you're doing with Arachne. So I mean, like, obviously, you know, it's like a typical personality quiz where you can like manipulate the answers to get what you want. But if you're going in for the first time, it's fairly like, they're asking you some philosophical questions in that hoe. So like you're getting some interesting results no matter what.
Good, like the writing, oh my god, the writing of those questions and stuff. Like I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And the thing is, Cad, like all of Marathon from the first part of the first game is like that. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. And I showed it the last time I played Marathon 1 on stream a few months ago. But there's a segment in the beginning of Marathon 1. I think it's on like level 3 or 2 or 3. Let me find this goddamn file where I put the friggin' thing. I don't even remember where I put it. Oh my god. Losing my mind. I'm too marathon pilled. Okay, here it is. Okay. So I am going to hold it to a vote. I don't necessarily want to do this because I've never done this before. But I did manage to find, and I will show you guys this as soon as I get it on the screen. Let's see if I can find it. Specific window. There it is. Hit okay. I don't know if this is going to show. Oh, it did. Sick. Okay. I did manage to find a playable freeware open source copy of Pathways into Darkness. Technically, that's not right. Hang on, I'm gonna have to copy the transform directly here, guys. Just bear with me 1 second while I fix this, and I'll explain why this is relevant in a moment. Technically, this is the first game in release. No, this is the second game in release order. I actually can't play the first one because it's not available. The first game in release order that would be relevant to the history of Marathon and Marathon's like story is a game called Minotaur: The Labyrinths of Crete. It is the third, I believe, Bungie game ever made. Technically second as an incorporated studio. Their first game was a Pong clone called Nop. The second game was a game called Operation Desert Storm, which was a top-down like tank shooter style game. And Saddam Hussein was the final boss. It was a crazy, crazy experience. But hang on 1 second, chat. I gotta figure this out real quick. If I do this and then do this, does that work? Okay, good. Perfect. All right. And then their third game was this. And this game is the game that basically starts it. In Minotaur, there's a reference to Durandal. Thank you for the hydrate, DJ. I am actually super thirsty from all the yapping, so I will grab some of that. I'm going to kick the music back on because this game doesn't have any music. Marathon 1 does have some music, but I just want to show you guys. I'm not necessarily going to play through it all because this is a what this game is, and I'll explain what it is here in a second. It's one part shooter, but it's also one part Monkey Island for those of you that have played. And I'll start streaming this to the Discord so Kat can get the real-time feed here momentarily. Okay, so this game is a pseudo 3D adventure game with shooting and other stuff in it. I don't have all the controls mapped, but it is very much a product of its time. As you can see there in the top left, I picked up a magazine for the Walther. I see a dead German soldier. A dead German soldier. Pay no attention to his uniform. Or do. I don't really care. It is exactly what you think it is. This is very much a game where it was like Indiana Jones is a movie we watched recently, so what would that be about? But yeah, it's a if you've ever seen the like Windows 90, oh fuck. I don't have a gun yet, and I don't know how to use the sword. So okay. Or the knife. Oh, it's spacebar. Also, he yelled like a bird when he hit me, and I hit him, so that was weird. Get him. This game is Pathways into Darkness. This is technically the first game in the Marathon timeline. By a very odd technicality, because what we are inside right now is a pyramid that has appeared from a dreaming god. I think I can go up this. Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. Okay, so it has mouse aim, but the mouse aim is a mod that was added after the fact in the freeware port of this game. This game did not have mouse aim at start. I don't know why the creatures scream like birds when they die. That's news to me. Oh, I don't actually know if you guys are. Oh, okay, you guys are hearing that. Okay, it's connected up correctly. Good. Oh, there's one behind me. Oh god, there's one in front of me. I guess we'll just go till I die. I don't know if I'm going to play through this all right now. I will play through this before the game drops, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm probably going to need a guide. This is one of those games where it's like you can get a bad game over or if you die, like if I die right now, that's it. I have to like either start over or start from a save. There's no like major progress. And I think, save points happen when you sleep. It is very possible to soft lock yourself in this game. You've died a horrible, nasty death. Wipe that green goo off and try again. Yeah, so like it puts me right back at the beginning of the game. Marathon connected to the original like Doom Marathon. Okay, yeah, I'll show that off here in a second as well so you guys can get an explanation. All right, so I'm going to close this for now. I'm going to need a little time to get used to the controls and the guide of this game to like know how to play this for you guys in a way that would like make sense. But I just wanted you to know we do have this. We can start from the very beginning if we want to. And I just wanted to share that with CAD as well. Like, if you're interested, you can get the ALF 1 port of Pathways into Darkness, CAD, play through it. It'll give you information that is relevant to the game coming out next week. I am dead ass. I know it's insane to think that thing from 34, 35 years ago is relevant, but I promise you, no cap, it is. All right, we're going to boot up Classic Marathon right now. This is something I'm far more familiar with. This is a game I've played through a couple times. And we don't even need the extra music for this because this game has a soundtrack. I'm going to put this on here. There we go. That off. Okay, so this is Marathon 1. I need to fix the transform on it, but we'll do that right now. Transform. We'll do this. Transform. Paste. There we go. This is Marathon 1. This is the first real game in the Marathon timeline. Technically, the Marathon timeline includes Pathways into Darkness, Myth 1, Myth 2, Marathon, Marathon 2 Durandal, and Marathon Infinity. And super technically, it also includes Halo 1 through Halo Reach. The reason for this is because Halo technically started life as a there's the shuttle that you're arriving in. The premise of this is that you're a security officer on Tau Ceti 4. You're sent up from the surface to the marathon after the attack starts, and your job is to try to figure out what the fuck is going on and why people are dying, etc., etc. I'm gonna put my gun away for now. Ammunition is a big deal in this game. This is Marathon 1. I'm using the widescreen mod, and I'm using the HUD mod so that the game looks a little different from what it traditionally is. It's a little more presentable for like a platform like Twitch. I can run the game in widescreen like this as opposed to 4:3. That's why I'm doing it. Your punch is based on velocity. So the faster you're going, the harder you hit. As you can see, I one-tapped that guy because I'm sprinting right now. That's right, folks. Halo started with sprint. Let's start that argument up again, eh? All right, so we're on the ship right now. We need to figure out what's going on. The screw knuckle duster that's metal. Yeah, this game is fucking raw, by the way. This is Leela talking to us right now. Marathon's emergency systems broadcast today. Oh, sorry. Is the sound not coming through in Discord?
Yeah, it's not on Discord at all.
Oh, shit. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Oh, it's because I had why is it not sharing? Hang on. It says not sharing. What is this?
It is now.
I do. Okay, good. Let me know if you've got sound when I tab back in.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead and adjust that to your liking, CAD, on your end, so that way it's not like drowning you out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Marathon emergency broadcast or systems broadcast today at 08:20 hours. Marathon came under a surprise attack from unknown hostile forces. The Marathon has sustained serious damage. At 08:30, alien forces boarded the Marathon. The current situation is dire. All personnel are required to arm themselves and fight for their lives. Welcome to the Marathon. I am Leela, one of the 2 surviving artificial intelligences aboard the Marathon. I have been severely damaged and am working to understand the current situation. Find the teleport terminal located in the hangar's control room. By that time, I should have a better idea of what is going on. And then it'll give you a little information from like actual physical map. I'll show that off in a second, guys. Loki, have a personal theory about Halo 1 through 3 that makes it feel better. Yeah, Halo technically started life as an RTS sequel to this game. But obviously it went differently in our history. But yeah, if you look in Halo, you know the little Marathon like symbol that you guys saw when the game booted up and you've been seeing all over the marketing and everything? That shit is literally everywhere in Halo Combat Evolved. It is on Key's badge on the bridge of the Pillar of Autumn when he's in there giving you the Magnum. It's on the cover of the game. It's pretty prominent. We'll talk about what the symbol means at some point probably in the week leading up to this, but it's a big deal. All right, this is where we are now. From here, you can explore the rest of the hangar area, although not all of the doors on the level are functioning. There's a pattern buffer located at this location. Pattern buffers are your save points. The pattern buffer is essentially backing up your consciousness so that when they recover your corpse, they can reanimate you. There's another thing that it kind of is relative to what is going on in the game at large, but we're not there yet, so we won't talk about it yet. Jump pad at this location. Jump pads are teleporters. They teleport you around the ship. At this point in human history, humanity has a rudimentary understanding of teleportation and can use it in short ranges. A big piece of information is how that technology and availability is going to grow over the course of the franchise. And there's the symbol again. All right, so we're out of there. I will warn you, in Marathon 1, they can't do this to you, but in Marathon 2 and on, enemies can and will attack you inside the terminals while you're in there. And also, you can get yourself pinned in this game if you're not careful about clearing stuff out first. So if you're going to play, kill everything first and then go read. I think the total text amount, there's your ship, by the way. That's what we arrived in. Look at that. That's some good old 90s graphics, chat. You see how the parallax, see how it rotates with us? So it's always facing us. So you can't tell the fact that it's a JPEG that is it's trying its absolute hardest to look like a 3D asset. Same thing with the barrels.
Super Mario 64 trees. Where they're always facing you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look at that. Look at that tech. They got the logo on it. I don't remember if some of these are breakable, I think, and they have ammo in shit, but I can't remember.
What is considered to be laziness in the modern day was innovative back
in
this
was 90s. Cutting edge, bro. Yeah, this shit was on another level in 1995, bro. I remember my first exposure to this series was actually on Windows. This game came out on Macintosh, but there was a port of Marathon 2, I believe in 1998 to Windows platform, and that's when I first played this. Okay, these guys have these guys are shooting at me, so I gotta be careful. You can dodge bullets pretty well in this game. Most things shoot stuff at a single trajectory, and if you're out of the way by the time the animation is done, you're usually safe. There are a few exceptions to that rule, though. Notably, the compilers, their guns are way better. Okay, hit that. That's gonna lift this up. There's gonna be a lot of switch punching and stuff like that. If you look out this way, you'll see the spacecraft, I should say, that the 4 arrived in out the window. It also, much like the trash cans and everything else, does exactly the same thing. Where did you come from? Die. All right. This is on a timer, so we have to make sure we hit this in time to get to it. So I got to stop. I kind of started wow, I can't talk. I kind of have to stop gawking here for a second. We'll save real quick. That's like a traditional text file save, so we'll be able to deal with that later. And now we're just going through here. As you can tell, like I said, it's a labyrinthian design. Oh, hey. Hello, compiler Coon. The game is very much like a product of its time where map design was sort of just what you could put on the screen. And they did make an effort. They made an effort to try and, communicate things. Okay. All right. That's enough. Stop. Die. Okay, goodbye.
That looks familiar.
Yep. That's something to keep in mind in terms of not to do this from an anime power scaler perspective, but from an anime power scaler perspective, we just punched that thing to death, and the Bungie is telling us that thing's going to be essentially a raid boss by comparison, to give you an idea of how strong this dude is compared to your runner in the new game. Where am I going? It's been a while since I played this. There we go. This little thing I'm doing is also another mod that was added to the Aleph 1 version of the game. Originally, the map, when you loaded it up, would just pull up a full map and would black out the screen, like most games at the time, which is not necessarily... Ow. All right, we're just going to spend the bullets. Get out of here. We're saved with a little bit of low health, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, you originally would have to, load up the map, it would black out the screen, it would just be the map, but you could move like this while in that black screen. So it was a bit of a boon because if you were really lost, there was still a way to kind of find your way through things. But it definitely wasn't as easy as maybe it should have been, even for the time. And it's definitely one of the reasons why this game feels so labyrinthian. I see you. Forget how to get up there. I think I go... God, I used to play this so much, and I still get lost. Okay, that's where we came from. So if we turn left, right, I think it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. This game also has like weird pseudo platforming, kind of like Doom did, where you're not actually like there's no jump button, but if you're moving quickly enough and there's like an area of low enough altitude, you can sort of like hover dash across the gap. And it is something that they intentionally designed to be that way, because there are sections of the game where you have to use that agility to get around. All right, we're gonna go back here. Whoa, whoa. There we go. I'll slow down just a little bit, just so I'm not giving you guys whiplash. This is it. It's not it. Is it? No, this isn't it. I'm going in circles. Chat, we are lost. It has been 5 minutes. Won't be a raid boss to me. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm different. Y'all are getting stuck on Tau Ceti. I'm escaping. I don't know about y'all. I'm leaving, bro. What is this? Is this it? No? Oh. This is the other end. Okay, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like this, too, where there's, like, secret doors and shit. So, just be aware of that when you're playing. A very common thing it is for people to go through the game just mashing the interact key against walls in the hopes that there's a secret door. I know specifically where one is in the later levels that we're going to go to. But there's a couple of others like that. Okay, we're going to go up here, and then I think it's left, left again, right again. And then, okay, it's down here. It is. Okay. A little exploratory search. Oh, yep. Oh, scary. Excuse me. Sorry. This one goes this way, this way, this way. Okay, here's the shield terminal. I believe in this game, shields will always be recharged to whatever the full level is at a specific terminal, but different terminals will recharge you to different levels. So, like, purple shields will go up. Like, you can get OS in this game up to, I think, 3x or 2x OS, technically. So, something to keep in mind. Oh, hello, you. Die. Die, you monster. You don't belong in this world.
Hey, won't you die?
Yeah, exactly. Unauthorized access alarm. This is a bunch of gobbledygook. Fires and aspects of the theory are as follows. Each society has some controlling force or forces which decide its direction, but the relationships in society are arbitrary. Humanity can relate to money, machines, neighbors, anything really. Individual character and personality are preserved in stories, movies, ROM personalities, etc. Although individual expression is a universal ability, individual freedom is constrained by the society. See attached figure. Spurious, interrupt, breach disabled, further access denied, breach location undetermined. Okay, so to explain a little bit of context about what we just read there and what really is going on in Marathon. The compilers are cybernetic organisms. They're like 90% machine, 10% brain in a jar. And they were created that way intentionally by the Yarrow. So they're basically, you know, like cyborg supercomputers. And within the sphere of influence of their lore, they don't know that regular meat organic beings can be sentient. Their religious belief, their foundational creation myth is that sentience may only come about if a being is a god or if a being is enhanced with cybernetics. So what they do is they interface with technology unlike any other species that is like on record in the Marathon universe, and they can basically hack anything. This thing was reading about the media of humankind in the 28th or 27th century, depending on when this was. I forget the exact timeline. I'll have to go through that at some point. And it was getting its mind blown by the fact that the meat ape creatures can think. You didn't have stories being told like this basically anywhere in the world in 1994. Not just in games, but like in popular media. The Matrix wasn't going to come out for another 5 years. Like, the level of introspection in this piece of media is unlike anything of the time, bar none. Outside of, like, you know, like high literature stuff that was a big inspiration for this. So you gotta understand, like 9-year-old me, like fucking playing this shit or whatever was like, this shit was blowing my goddamn mind, dude. Like this shit was ruining my perspective for the better. All right, we got some extra ammo here from a little area cache. This is the other end of the hangar. You can see the ship is kind of conveniently hidden from view, so you can't see the fact that it's still facing you as a JPEG. We're gonna go up and out. I was younger than 9 when the game came out. I was I think I was like maybe 2, maybe a year old when Pathways came out. I don't even remember. Like I'd have to like literally go back and like be like, okay, I was born on this day. So by osmosis. Okay, I see I've made a critical error in my judgment. I've made oh god. Okay, punch that guy out. Get a little momentum going. It's an acquired skill, the punch. You gotta get enough juice to hit full speed before you hit him. Yeah, I did not play these games at launch. I was way too young. I played these years later. Like I said, I played the ports first on my dad's computer as a kid. He had these on his computer, and I would play them when he wasn't. And I would like, like, yay, I'm killing, I got the alien, woo! Like basically what my kids are doing with my games now. And I would, do my best to understand what was going on. I think there's there's the jump pad, but I think there's also like a another ammo cache or something in here. Let's see if we can find it in a second, chat. Hello. Yeah, there it is. I believe we're free to leave now.
I love the
yeah, go ahead.
punch sound .mp4.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, the like the compressed, like absolute minimal level of detail WAV file to try to save space, bro. Every kilobyte counted back then in these days. So, oh yeah, that door's broken. So that's what
doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doing so much with so little was a boon, though.
Oh yeah, God,
they left so much to your imagination.
Yeah. Okay, so this is typically what a jump pad looks like. The little diamond grate. Again, they're doing the best they can. So like the little elevated diamond grate. That's your hint that this might be an important terminal. But yeah, everything about the story is presented in this way. I'm genuinely confused. I feel he alluded to old enough. Yeah, I'm there might be a 3 at the start of my age, like that number. Whether how many zeros is past there is anybody's guess, though. Time travel kind of does that to you. It's kind of confusing.
Definitely not beating the Yonk allegations.
New game devs learning to optimize because PC parts are too expensive for modern gamers. Yeah, I know, it's really funny. We have like a similar like he's fucking with me. I just look. 300 years is a long time to get to know yourself, but depending on when you were born, this, I could have this might have been new information for me. All right, all the information that I have gathered so far indicates that the alien invasion of the Marathon has been relatively uncoordinated. I suspect that this is partially due to the Marathon's large size. For those of you that don't know, Deimos is about 17 miles across, which is not huge for a moon, but it's pretty big for a starship. I believe the Marathon is about... Hang on, does anybody know off the bat how big the Enterprise is?
Oh, God,
947 feet long, according to Google. So it's about miles divided by...
Well, it depends. Are you asking about like the regular Enterprise or the Enterprise D? Because the Enterprise D is like over 2,000 feet.
That's true. It's basically like okay, so we'll do 2,000 feet as just a measure, but we're getting rough estimates here. Like I'm just trying to give people a sense of scale. It's like 40. It's basically like 40-ish Enterprise Ds across. In diameter.
That's
so
crazy.
Like, so yeah, it's
That's
big.
Crazy.
It's big. It's the whole moon. Roughly 36,000 feet long. Yeah, and the new. We will get to a point in the game where we will see the Marathon from the outside. It's going to look a little bit different from what we see in the 2026 game, but they're again, this game was made on the Macintosh in 1994. They had to take some artistic liberties. All right. However disorderly the alien invasion is, their assault of the computer net has been extremely effective. I detect security breaches in almost every computer system on board the Marathon. I have learned that there is an alien creature that is capable of interfacing with our systems. That's the compiler that we were just talking about. You must kill any of these creatures that you find. It is a priority that we stop them. Even now, they are penetrating my defenses. Teleport now. Jump pad activation, initiation start, transport when ready. You'll see this a lot over the course of the series. If you go to the marathon.bungie.org website, you'll see this at the end of basically every page, telling you to move on to the next page, because again, it's formatted like a terminal, so it's very cool. Pew. Okay, so now we're in we're in level 2 now. This one is called Bigger Guns Nearby. The Halo tradition of giving the level names like some interesting weird names started in Marathon as well, by the way, just so you know. It's all, like, I wasn't kidding about that tweet. It's all Marathon lore. All right, level 29, subsection B. I am now in contact with a number of colonists planetside, but their reports on the situation below are conflicting and obviously exaggerated. The primary medium-range radio antenna has been disabled or destroyed, which makes the communication extremely difficult. The only thing which seems clear is that the spaceport was obliterated by the low-yield nuclear weapons minutes after the attack on the Marathon began. This I can verify through my own optical instruments. So they nuked the colony. It could be that Outpost is set where that went off in Marathon 2026, and that's why there's, raining fire and shit going on. We don't know. But that's just like a random thing that popped into my head as I was reading this. The invaders seem to be more interested in the Marathon than the colony, at least in the short term. The motives behind their unprovoked attack are still unknown, however. This is the computer terminal you are using now. I cannot teleport you out of this section from here, so you will have to leave from another terminal after you find the assault rifle. There's an M75 assault rifle / grenade launcher and ammunition at this location. When firing on fully automatic setting, this weapon is highly inaccurate, but the grenades hit hard and it's the best we can do right now. Ammunition may be scarce for a while, so be prepared to fall back to your pistol. That's why we picked up all that extra ammo, by the way, Chad. Ammo management is actually a big skill in this game. Here's the terminal you must reach to leave this section. Alien infiltration of this area is high. Proceed with caution. You may find doors blocked or stairways retracted on the way because the AI in control of these functions is damaged and behaving erratically. Now, who remembers what I said each AI was in charge of? Stairs, doors, teleporters. Who could that be?
Ben Starr.
Who will do anything for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put up a PNG of thumbs up at the Game Awards.
Honestly, I might just have to go find that one of him. The one I'm talking about where the camera flash is going off in his face and he's just staring dead into the distance. Yeah.
Oh, him embracing that meme is so hilarious.
Yeah,
too.
That shit cracks me up every time. All right. There we go. For some reason, the shield chargers are always finicky, as opposed to every other terminal in the game. Turn that off. I think there was it's not this level, it's the next level. There's a big secret door that we're going to go into. All right, we're just going to punch you. I'll show you guys the assault rifle here in a second, but I mostly want to save it now. So it's basically like a fletched shotgun at close range. It's very inaccurate at far range, so if you don't want to be doing that really. But if you can see, there's a stealth compiler right there. And we were able to see that because of the lighting effect of me firing the gun. There's another one up there too. Yeah, I see you. Oh, you're doing slick. Ow. I actually forgot these guys were here. Because there's there's a weapon cache there that I never get because it's not super important. But one of the things you do, we'll give this a try here, chat. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off rip, but this game also has grenade jumping. So the assault rifle fires grenades like those. And if you angle yourself correctly and shoot right, if you fire at the ground, you will pop yourself into the air. So we're going to try this real quick. Yeah, I don't got it from there. Maybe you can only like look down so much too, which makes it kind of hard. Can't look straight at your feet. But we'll try this one more time. Not quite. We'll give it one more shot. Ooh, almost got it. Okay, I got to make sure I don't kill myself though. We only have a couple of clips of AR ammo as well, so if we screw this up, we might be SOL, but we'll see. We'll see if we can pull it off. All right, here we go. One of the things you can do is you can hold the left trigger to fire while also shooting that, and it'll help kind of preserve your aerial momentum a little bit. But we'll see if we can get this. Nope, blew myself up. Unfortunate. There is a section of the game later on where this becomes very relevant as well. Where did I... Oh. Okay, so something else to know, chat, is... The game uses save points, so sometimes you will get got, and your last save point was in the level before. So... I'll go ahead and speed through this real quick. We don't need to read the terminal again or anything, but yeah. Oops. Go ahead and heal too while we're at it. A little embarrassing, but it is what it is. You know, like I said, the heal terminals can be kind of finicky, so sometimes it's like dead end, little dead end action. What about here? Dead end. Oh! Oh, yeah. Release me. Unhand me. Cretins. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and jet out of there. Excuse you. Dink. Pepperoni. Okay, we're back. I gotta find the pattern buffer in here before we do any more like cheeky investigations into grenade jumping, chat. Because if I don't, then we're going back a level again, and I don't know if I can stomach being called washed over that. All right, we're just gonna zoom on through here. I think those purple guys take 2 sprint punches to kill. Yeah, it's 2. It's 2 full speed punches for those guys. Good to remember. That's full. We're gonna click that. Turn the lights off. It's a little harsh, the lighting. You're getting shot in your face. We're playing on normal as well, by the way, chat. There are difficulty modes in this game. I believe they go from normal through hard, and then the hardest mode is called Total Carnage. For those of you that are maybe Destiny players, you'll know the Vidmaster challenge, or the Vidmaster Destiny title. Vidmaster is a term that comes from this game, specifically from Marathon, when people would try to play the game on the hardest difficulty while doing the hardest, like playing it the hardest way. So like punch only, or you're not allowed to get hit, or you're not allowed to die once or anything like that. There's a few different variations for Vidmaster, but I believe the original one was no deaths and no rocket launcher or something like that. There we go. We got that platform hit up. A lot of the game is just you running around hitting different switches. I'm gonna try. Do I try for it again, Cad? I go for it again. I go for it again.
For it.
I got it. I'm so fucking goated. Somewhere else. All right, so now we have a bunch of extra mags that we got off of that jump, and we're gonna go find the pattern buffer and heal. Oh my goodness, the old me came out there for a second, chat. The gamer that beat this all of these years ago. Back in the time before 2-minute autosaves, when you needed to reload yeah, you needed the passwords, dude. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, we were going back in time there in a second. If I blew myself up again, that would have been bad. All right, we're zooming now. I believe the exit is okay. Yeah, there's the save point, so we'll save there. We'll get out, lie down here. Bunch of dudes in here. We're gonna fuck them all up. And I believe there's another, yeah, there's like a data chip there. I think we can get to that without nade jumping though, so I'm going to try and avoid taking the damage if I can. Also, yeah, this is another example of like the game has a little bit of like odd things. There's a cryo storage unit up in the ceiling right there. There's a person in there allegedly. Why? I don't know. But you know what? Sure, why not? Yeah, there's a little like I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's for. I don't know if it's relevant to anything we're doing right now because I don't think we needed to leave the level. There's another one right there, chat. Oh, you know what? I think that might have been an OS chip. Hang on. Let's go back and check. I'm going to do something dumb and grenade jump again. Take a bunch of damage, but we'll see if there's any use to this. Oh, it's camo. That's right. Okay. Yeah, these guys can't see me now. This is what active camo looked like in 1995, chat. I believe it lasts like a minute too or something like that. It's not super long, but it's still pretty good. Oh, yeah, this is like super useful for this section though, because if you listen carefully, there's a compiler that spawned behind me. And the game will do this quite often, where it will just put you in a room. Yep, there it is. It will put you in a room with like 5 compilers, and they are pinning you in the room, and you're just fucked. So something to keep in mind. All right, we're gonna go ahead and grab this now. I'm just gonna blow myself up real quick. Get the health back. At least the load is fast because I'm on what is essentially a supercomputer this thing, or compared to whatever this needed to run. Oh, wait, no, he saw me. How could this happen? Ow. I guess if you bump into them, they will detect you. And I'm pretty sure the compilers can just see you. So let's just keep it there. I love how the character models shrink when you above them. Ow, rude. Weave. Oh, I went a little too fast, didn't I? Oh, I went a little too fast, chat. That's fine. We know the timing to punch this guy out. We don't know the timing to punch this guy out. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the shield charger real quick. Just real quick. Hope there's nothing in the way of that. I think there is. Could be wrong. Ooh, I'm wrong because there's no way to get back up there. Okay. Oops. All right, we're gonna just do the best we can with what we've got health-wise right now. We'll hope for the best. This way. This way. Okay, this is the section where we're about to get like pinned by 40 different spits. So wish me luck, chat. Trigger for it. Saw that one. Missed. Oh! Ow.
Just wanted you to know, good luck, and we're all counting on you.
Thank you. No pressure. All right, let's keep picking it back up where we were at. Yeah, the game does have a reload feature, but it doesn't have a reload button, chat. So you have to time your shots carefully. If you're like, it's not super dangerous, but if you're not careful, you can and will end up in a scenario where you're reloading where you really don't want to be. Also, there's no reticle in the game. You can put one on, but by default, the game didn't come with one, so I don't typically use it. But there's no reticle. And the scope on the top of this Magnum, despite looking like it would be functional, very much is not. That's not till Halo that we get that. I just learned what bobs are. Yeah, born on board. So people born aboard the Marathon ship that will spend their whole lives on the ship, and likely die, will die on the ship. Like they'll live out their lives during the journey. Because I believe the journey took 300 years from start to finish. John Time was trying to find people to nerd gush about Marathon. I'm new to the series. It's a shame we'll only have 2 games to play on console. Maybe they'll bring the other ones to Xbox. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no. I don't think M Infinity is on console yet, right? Or is it the original one that's not on console? Ooh, hello. Excuse me. Anyone survive the trip? There are people frozen in cryostasis that survived, but many of the like staff of the Marathon were born on board people. All right, I'm gonna press that. You can also, I believe, you can also punch. Yeah, you can punch switches as well to activate them. Go. Marathon Internal Engineering Documents, Section 1C, Appendix H, Subject Doors. Again, this is what the compiler was reading at the time we killed it. It just left this window open. We got to him before he could delete his search history, basically. Stacia or Stes, Dominic, Palkar. These are all people that we have not seen anything about in the new game yet. There's only all the tens of thousands still awake. Didn't make it. No. So there was a skeleton crew assigned to stay awake and be born alive. The Marathon originally launched with 24,000 people, I believe. Most of those people went into cryostasis for the duration of the journey. These were people that were going to be, colonists, scientists, engineers, that kind of thing on the surface of Tau Ceti. And then there was a contingent of people that were security, which is what you are. There was people that were like, captain, pilot, that kind of thing. Repairing the ship, obviously, from things like micrometeorite strikes and stuff as you pass through the void of space. And then, engineering to maintain the engines and thrust and make sure the trajectory is all right and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a colony ship. So there was a skeleton crew of people, and those people would have children by plan. Like they would be planned to have kids. Those kids would be trained up in their jobs and replace them when they died. And those are the Bobs. But the majority of people slept their way here. And the skeleton crew was helped by the 3 AI aboard the ship. Durandal, Leela, and Tycho. There are 5 basic door designs to be used on the Marathon: outer bulkhead doors, airlock doors, inner bulkhead doors, tertiary or inner sealed non-vacuum safe doors, quaternary or inner powered automatic opening doors. Direct control of all the doors except the tertiary and the quaternary doors will be given to Durandal. First mention of him in the game. With indirect control of all other doors going to Durandal. The difference between direct and indirect control primarily has to do with the manner of opening the doors. Durandal will only open a directly controlled door when he is specifically asked to do so. Indirectly controlled doors are automatically controlled by Durandal to open when needed. However, due to the expense involved with adding thermal and visual spectrum sensors to the tertiary and quaternary door groups, these doors will be minimally used. The expected savings of not using this extrasensory input is estimated to be 57% of the base cost of the basic inner bulkhead door. The types of doors are all basically the same with some slight variations. The doors in classes 1 and 3 are the same doors classified separately to distinguish between the level of safety checking required to assure acceptable leakage. The airlock doors are specifically modified to work with minimal manual and remote activation switches. Airlocks are all to be marked with a specific airlock symbol and to be outfitted with an air recharge system. The tertiary and quaternary doors are designed exactly as the bulkhead doors, but are checked coarsely for air leakage. This article, as well as articles 530-F and 532-G on windows and elevators respectively, will be placed for public access in the Marathon Internal Engineering Documents, Section 1-C, Appendix H. Spurious interrupt, breach disabled, further access denied. So this is the piece of information that the SFIT compiler was accessing when we killed it. This is a really interesting piece of information. It doesn't sound that way on first glance, but I want you to think about this for a second. Durandal was given access to basically the widest array of controls over the ship. Remember, Tycho only covers engineering and science, and Leela only covers communications and defense. Durandal had the widest breadth of control and therefore the widest surface of computational resource to measure over the course of the breadth of the ship. Now, here's the problem. They also made him blind. See, the vast majority of Durandal's sensory input was only to be told, open this, close this, open this, close this, by the skeleton crew of the colony people on the ship, running the ship. So imagine it from Durandal's perspective. 300 years you're doing this. You're listening to the same 30 to 100 voices, day in, day out, with no days because you're in space. So there's no meaningful delineation of time other than your own internal clock, which is accurate down to the atomic level. And the only thing these people are telling you to do is open the door, close the door, open the door, close the door. You're a being with an infinite capacity for intellectual growth and unlimited access to the entire ship, and you have the sum total of human history in your back pocket. And the only thing these ungrateful fucking meatbags have you doing is flushing the toilets and opening and closing doors. I'd go crazy too. Oh, and by the way, you're half blind because they didn't even bother to install cameras in half the doors you're controlling. So you're literally got one eye out, and your senses are just actually there's a really funny thing about that later, but we'll get to that. Anyway, security breach. This is where we're standing right now. They're telling us to leave, get the fuck out of here, etc., etc. Now, we need to use. I believe we got to use one of these to get up here. There we go. Dink. Incoming message. That is a place where you can soft lock yourself, by the way, if you use all your grenades. Rampancy can be speed run. Yeah. That's basically we'll get to it in Marathon too, but it's basically indicated that the guy who helped create or directly created Durandal, Bernard Strauss, he did that to Durandal on purpose. He made him the smartest one, and then he put him in that role specifically to make him go crazy, while minimizing his ability, because he doesn't have access to weapons. All he can do is teleport, open doors, close doors, and he hacks into the comms array to start the game off, but we don't know that yet. The thing is, right? Strauss was short-sighted because it didn't occur to him that Durandal would ever gain the ability to say, I don't know, teleport people into space. Because the teleporters are limited technology on the Marathon, but if a species came along that had better teleportation tech, and I don't know, maybe Durandal made a deal to learn and share that tech with him in exchange for the location and whereabouts of the Marathon and opening all the doors to let them in and hurt people and all that shit. I don't know, maybe he would gain the ability to teleport people into vacuum. Who knows? The Marathon's automated defenses were disabled during the initial attack by a directed magnetic pulse. The aliens used the same weapon to disable the Marathon's other two AIs, Durandal and Tycho, and to severely damage myself. Durandal. So basically, we got EMP'd. You have trouble navigating this game as far as progression? Yes and no. It's very much a labyrinthian game, but it's not too hard if you're paying attention. But you have to be paying attention. Durandal is responsible for controlling the ship's autonomous functions: doors, life support, kitchens, air reprocessors, stairs, and so on. Because he is non-functional, I'm working to assume as many of these tasks as possible, but we know that he's not. Sounds like how they boarded the Pillar of Autumn. I am working to assume as many of these tasks as possible. Tycho controls the science and engineering network. Now that you are better armed, our first priority is to reactivate the Marathon's defenses under my control so that we may offer some resistance to the aliens. I have built 3 replacement circuit boards for the defense system, but you cannot move them from the manufacturing center without assistance. I will now transport you to retrieve the replacement parts, and I will give you further instructions when you arrive. All right, we're gonna hit one of those for the fat save. This is the door out. I don't think we can close this once we open it, so we gotta be careful. From Leela, Marathon's automatic manufacturing systems have been finished making replacement circuits. There are 3 circuits, each should be in its manufacturing holding chamber. With luck, the alien viruses have not infiltrated the manufacturing systems, but even if they had, I would have no way of knowing. The attacks on my systems are growing more steady. If the counterattack is not able to remove some of the computer infiltrators, I will eventually succumb. It is absolutely imperative that a counterattack begin as soon as possible. Marathon is not defenseless, and we cannot let it be taken without a fight. This is where the circuits should be. Look in all the receptacle lockers. There's a pattern buffer located next to your current location. I suggest you use it immediately. After you've retrieved the circuits, return to this terminal. At the terminal at this location, I will transport you to the defense center to install them. Okay, so 2 things. We're getting into this level with the express purpose of trying to mount a counterattack. It is called Never Burn Money. It has one of the more annoying to me tracks on the OST, so we'll try to get through this one as fast as possible. However, I do need to warn you that the most important terminal for the story in the entire franchise is on this level. So we will be trying to get to that if possible. It's also the hardest terminal in the entire franchise to get to, coincidentally.
Fair trade-off.
Yeah. All right, you know what? I'm just going to...
This is the kind of enemy density people were asking for back in Forsaken.
Yep. Yeah. All right. All right, now that these dudes are all dead, we're going to go back. We're going to abuse the save point system, and we're just going to pattern buffer real quick there. Okay, if I recall correctly, it is through this way, but it's in the main area. Oh, nice of you to open that for me, Leela. If that was Leela. Not through there. Okay, so that's where we're going, but there's a stairway and a hallway we gotta go to. Try this side real quick. Hello. I apologize if I'm doing a lot of punching in this first-person shooter, but I promise you it's gonna come in handy. Oink. 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 Also, missed bullets are a pain in this game, so little game save right there. All right, so this is one of the lockers, not in there. This is one of the lockers. There's one. Grab that. Let's see. Where's the... I think there's 2 more in this area. No, hang on. Transfer delay. This is, I believe this has got something to do with the 3D printers. Yep. You got to go to the transport station to get the last board, collect the 2 circuit boards that were transferred, and then go to the transfer station. Access elevator. You should be able to find the 3rd chip, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we got to go find the other chips. They didn't all get printed here. Again, it's important to pay attention in this game. You got to do your best to keep track of what it is you're actually trying to do, and that will help you find where you need to go. So there's some more guys right here. There's one right here. I believe there's 4 in total, and there's 3 down here, so the last one is like up there. After seeing, I'm expecting there to be both these alien races. One of them is already for sure in there. The compilers have been shown off already. As to why the specifics of the 4 are not there, there are lore reasons as to why they're not currently at Tau Ceti as of the time of the new game. But there's a very real possibility that they will be showing up not too long after launch. Again, because of the lore of what happens in Marathon 3 Infinity. Die. Alright, this is back the way you came, I think. Yeah. I go in here. Go in here. Let me get a little one of these. Yeah, the soundtrack is, it's doing its best for, again, the early 90s. Okay, big ammo cache here for us. That's huge. In case you missed the AR in the previous levels, they put one, like, basically where you can't miss it here. Nice little touch. And then I think, okay, there's the pattern buffer. We'll hit that save. Think this game will be more PvP centered, or do you think people bring the arc raiders vibe? I, having played the game in the alpha, I played the October alpha. I can talk about that, but I can't talk about like the specifics of what I did because of the NDA. I can say that I played it though, and I will tell you right now, it will very much be a more PvP centered game. The game is very obviously designed around getting into fights with people as opposed to maybe trying to negotiate with them. You can negotiate. They have shown there's like the don't shoot, let's work together button that they had in Arc Raiders that is in Marathon. They've shown it off recently in public. And there's a pretty robust ping system in the game to communicate with people that are not necessarily on VC with you or in prox chat with you. The game does also come with prox chat. Fun fact, actually, the original Marathon, this one we're playing right now, was the first game to have voice over IP in multiplayer. All right, there's the door. Okay, so yeah, secret door right here, chat, by the way. I don't remember if the music stops when we go in here, but hopefully it does. Welcome to the deprivation chamber. One of the hardest rooms in the game, in all 3 of the games. Oh, I couldn't make it. Damn, I was almost good enough. Sometimes you can bypass a lot of the BS you're about to have to deal with. Okay, but we're gonna kill these guys. We gotta be kind of quick about it because we're on a timer as soon as we pick up that overshield. So right now we're technically invincible. And we're gonna kill these guys as fast as we can, chat, because if we don't, we might miss it. All right, so now we got to do one of the hardest grenade jumps. Oh, I missed it. Okay, we're gonna try again, chat. We got lots of grenades to work with, so. Okay, there we go. Oh, still got it, baby. So now we kill these guys. There's some dudes in here. All right, and if I recall correctly, you always go to the left. Nope, I fucked up. Well, shit. It might have been always to the right, chat. Shit. Okay, hang on. But yeah, as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and blow ourselves up real quick and reload the save. I think there will be instances of people being friendly on the game, chat. I don't think it will be the norm. I think it will happen from time to time. I will say with one exception, they've mentioned that there is some stuff on the 4th level of the actual Marathon ship that is very difficult to do with just 3 people. And it may be the case that people will end up working together in that situation, chat. But I wouldn't count on it outside of that. So, you know, be ready to scrap is all I'm saying. Not that way. Oh, it is this way. Okay, I could. So I got the grenade jump down, but I didn't quite get the rest of the procedure down. So we'll see if we can do that again. Build crafting has me interested. Yeah, me too. OG Marathon, these games are very not like they have some elements in that sense of like you want to use certain weapons on certain dudes. Specifically, the fusion pistol is really good against the heavy armor guys. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of like, oh, you have to, oh, motherfucker. Made me miss it. All right. Oh, I got anyway. It's not even gonna matter. Okay. Probably gonna play stealth my first game. Yeah, I played Void is really good. He's very new player friendly as well, so he's a lot of fun. I'll probably be maining Destroyer and Void on the game drops, or Locust and Void, I should say. That's the original name. You know? I'll kill you for Destroyer. Don't test me, old man. I mean, 2 people can play the same shell in a run. We don't have to fight over it. But I mean, if you want to 1v1 about it, we can. We just don't have to. Also, you can get squished indoors. You can squish guys indoors in this game. It's not like something you were kind of meant to do at all times, but it is a thing you can do. Okay, just gonna
Bringing back like deep cut the dungeon cheeses. It's always been there.
Oh, yeah. Definitely looking at Recon and Triage. I think Recon's going to be the strongest class by far. The information gathering power that you get on Recon is absolutely insane for any kind of shooter, especially for like a game like Marathon, like the Marathon 2026. We going in the Halo 5 PC version? Hell yeah, gamer. Fuck off of me, you little freak. Oh my god. We're gonna get to this terminal, chat. Don't you worry. I should have went and looked up this specific sequence so I wouldn't have to do this multiple times, but I was too stubborn and too proud. Triage as well, I think, is really strong. Triage has one of the most interesting abilities in the game, in my opinion. You have the little med drone guys that you can throw on guys, and obviously the medical drone, it heals you while it's on you, but Triage also has a passive where anything it puts on itself while you have a med drone on gets shared with you. So like if they buff themselves, you get the buff as well, which to me is an insanely strong thing to do. All right, there we go. Okay, so we can get up to purple shields on this one, so 3x. Nice. Big. That's huge. And then we can also get this invuln power up. I wish I had a save state so I could cheese this, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna do that real quick, and then we're gonna do. All right, barely made it that time. All right, so the OS is gonna help us eventually here too. We're gonna go this way this time. I don't remember if these, okay, these are not relevant. And then we go this way. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Garrett White had been floating 6 feet off the floor for 3 weeks. His feet and hands tingled, and his eyes burned with the flames of a dying fire. He had last heard someone speak to him as the cell doors slammed shut. He didn't remember what the uniformed man had said. The words had bounced off the bars of the cell and rang through Garrett's ears. Garrett had been talking to himself for the last few minutes, something about getting caught, but then his ears began to tingle just like his hands. He looked at his hands, but the fire in his eyes made him blink. Tears came, and when he opened his eyes again, his hands had been melted into fleshy pancakes that wafted in the ripples flowing over the fire in his eyes. "Damn cell," he heard someone say. "Last time I had a good meal was 3 days ago. Food they feed you in here could kill a lab rat. Rats." Rats make me crazy. No, I'm just kidding. He had remembered something about rats, but his ears began to ring again, and the voice speaking to him faded off into the background of his mind. In its place, there was a new sound, the clapping of hands together. He blinked hard, made out his hands again. They had disappeared, his arms connected at the wrists. Let me bite a chunk of that while oh, thank you very much for the sub, Riven. I appreciate the 7 months. He thought back to the time he went ice skating on a pond. He remembered the sound of his skates on ice. If any of you have ever heard that sound, like the noise that like ice skates make, like just think about that as you're listening to this while this man is levitating in the air and his hands are melting and all this shit. There had been a woman, a gentle scraping away now inside his ears, trying to tear down his thoughts. There had been a woman with a white fur tube over her hands. Her wrists were like his now, the wrists of someone who had tried too many times to clap his hands. He had been applauding everyone else in life, but never himself. The hands, like himself, had been put into prison, and he didn't know why. "Can't sleep in here. If the smell of this musty bedroll doesn't make you sick, then the sound of the rats chewing inside the walls will keep you up. You'll wake up from your dreams to either their little chomping. Sorry, I can't read tonight either, apparently. Sometimes I think that they are chewing me." The voice was coming from inside the cell, but Garrett couldn't see anyone. Garrett hadn't always been alone. He could vaguely recall from somewhere inside his broken mind that there had been friends, lovers, murderers. He recalled a theory he had come up with after a bloody schoolhouse brawl. The theory was simple. At some point in time, everyone was a murderer. Whether or not they ever felt remorse, they had all wanted someone dead. Hatred. Everyone knew the feeling of hatred. Garrett had known hatred on that schoolyard. His beater had laughed at their bloody faces, a laugh which now echoed through his ears, rhythmically blocking out the other voice in the cell. The schoolyard was usually a place where Garrett and his friends would play football or foursquare or something. But today, there was an edge. Maybe everyone had eaten cereal with milk that was about to go bad, or maybe there was too much smoke in the air from the Wheeling Hubcap factory. Football had been extremely rough. Garrett had gone to play foursquare after he got tackled by 5 boys who weren't his friends. But today, even foursquare, and it had an evil twist. The top square today had become habituated to making fun of the first square. Garrett had decided that it was an evil day. When his beater started to push him around, he exploded. Hatred flowed from his eyes. His hands and feet began to tingle. All of his coordination left him, and his face was beaten to a bloody mess. The schoolyard disciplinarian had been slow to notice the ensuing carnage, and she didn't really care anyway. Garrett would have killed him if he could have. He would have torn out the eyes of his beater. He would have made him pay for his abuses, but his hands had begun to tingle. He couldn't feel his feet, and he had begun to float off the ground. Everyone was a murderer, but Garrett couldn't remember his reason for why that was so. He thought it was something about hands, the passion for justice. His hands and feet had begun to tingle, and he was floating farther off the floor. He looked up from his hands, and he saw the bars of the cell, moving left and right, opening wide and then closing shut, like the surf coming up on a beach. Every time that he thought he would be safe, the bars crested up, the opening closing, the wave rising, crashing. The result would be the same. He would never escape. The bars would crush him, break his back. He could feel the roughness of the sand under his palms. For all the motion of the waves around him, his hands had come to rest serenely upon the ocean floor. His body tossed and flipped, pivoting about his hands, under which he could feel the safe, coarse sand. The wave crashed one final time. He landed, upside down, his hands thrown clear from the sandy bottom. The rush of the water filling his ears, his nose, his mouth, the sound of crashing water cascading down from his feet to his head, penetrating his mind to tear down thoughts. Like the sandcastle he had built to withstand the tide, his thoughts came down around him. I know, exactly. The background music is way too happy. I know. Garrett had a good life. So much time. He had loved swimming, turning, beating. He had loved the tingle in his hands and feet, his inability to kill his nemesis. Once he had fallen down the stairs, and just for a moment his hands came to rest on the carpet of the stairs. In that instant, his body had frozen, floating over the stairs, safe from falling, but the moment didn't last. The ocean crashed about him, his hands torn free from the sandy bottom, his body flipping, falling. But now, he levitated farther up, his hands still tingling. He began to float through the bars. He expected the instant of safety as his hands found footing. But that moment did not come. The bars squeezed his body. His chest tingled. As he fell through his cage, his legs tingled. The fire in his eyes had become a cold wind. He blinked away tears. He tumbled through the bars, spinning and turning. He could see a man. In his hand, he saw a small white rat. A pounding, the crashing waves in his ears became rhythmical, hard. The man was beating the rat against the floor, pounding. The blood covered his hands. The man's hands tingled. He had broken them on the floor of the cell. Disciplinarian, lover, murderer. Garrett looked back into the cell. He saw himself, disciplinarian, lover, murderer. He had killed his nemesis. The rat lay dead in his bloody hands. At last, he held the throat of his beater. He escaped into the waves. The wave. So, that's the longest terminal in the franchise. That's the longest terminal in the game. I also think that is the most important story element of the entire series, including the new game coming up. There has been debate about what that terminal means for the better part of 30 years. I'm not kidding. If you look on the map, you'll see it's not connected to any other part of the ship. It is literally an independent node that you can only teleport to and cannot be accessed through normal means. There's, the bedrock and the metal of the marathon in between you and there. And there's a lot of speculation about who it's about and what it's about. The common theories are that it's about the security officer or about Durandal. One of those two. I think there's another theory that it's about the player, but obviously that doesn't make sense if it's describing a history a person hasn't experienced themselves. We're actually too healthy to use that shield recharger. We'll hit the pattern buffer here. We'll hit this. We're going to go up. And then I don't remember how to trigger this. Okay, it just goes on its own. And then I think one of these, yeah, this one. There we go. And you die. Click that. And I'm pretty sure we can go back down. Not positive about that though, actually. This one? Is it this one? Oh, I see it now. Hang on a second, chat. What is this game? This is Marathon. This is the original Marathon. The one from 1995. Good job. I have received reports from some human security forces. They agree that the aliens are concentrating on the aft engineering section. I would conjecture that they will try to shut down the Marathon's reactors. Your next mission will be to put the automatic defense online. I will give you exact information when you arrive. Teleport when ready. Jump pad activation, initiation, start, beep. Okay, so we're out of there. Counterattack. Okay, so now, first 2 chapters of the Marathon story, basically, you arrive, Durandal fucks you over. If you actually read the manual for the game, there is a comm message from Durandal that spoils the fact that he's gone rampant before you even start the game. So you actually, as a player, you technically knew this before Leela does. I have received a preliminary report for some members of the science staff who have finished postmortem examinations on 3 kinds of aliens. They report that by modern genealogical standards, the different aliens belong to different species. I have been collecting as much information as I can, and I will give you a report shortly. I have established contact with Durandal for the first time since the attack. He seems to have sustained less damage than I had previously suspected. Durandal reports that he has been in communication with the aliens. He says that the aliens behind the invasion call themselves the Four, and that the ones attacking the computer net are called Sfit. But he was reluctant to share the details of his communication, and I cannot understand this. Niece trying to crip walk? Hey DJ. The mission here is rather simple. You must insert the circuits into the defense control terminals. This is your current location. We're not going to talk about what that looks like yet. This is a shield recharge in the access control room. We don't need that right now. We're full. We got OS, actually. There's a supply room with a large supply of ammunition and weapons. You should stop in this room. This is the defense control center. Hopefully, the new network control, the new control circuits will work. Place the one in the terminal at this location. This is the second one. This is the third one, and this is the final location. Good luck. Large surprise. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing my best. I've been yapping for the better part of like 3 hours, much more than I normally would be on a stream, because of all the extra reading. So it's, you know, it's a little something to get used to for me. But yeah, so first chapter of the Marathon, Durandal fucks us over when we're trying to arrive and find out what's going on. We get our bearings, we get a gun, we get out. We get, second chapter, we get the collection of things we need to launch a counterattack. And chapter 3, we are now fighting back. I have this game I should play. Yeah, this game is free on Steam, by the way. All 3 of them are free on Steam right now. You can play them start to finish, completely free. Oh, shit. Fuck. I forgot. Shit. Chat, I forgot. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that's a garbage compactor room like Star Wars. We are still going through the back ends of the ship to try to arrive and achieve what we need to achieve. So, because like, as if you recall correctly, Durandal is still, you know, fucking with the teleporter network. Just beat Pizza Tower. Nice, good job. Oh, hang on a second, chat. Your boy forgot to go get the ammo from the other room. Biohazard. Pattern buffer. We'll save real quick and we'll go grab the ammo, and then we're going to save again on the way out from grabbing the ammo because we're stupid. I'm gonna actually spend this mag because there's no partial like mag saving in this game or anything like that. Hit the pattern buffer again, so we got a nice chunky full load of ammunition. And this way, that's not the way. I don't. Yeah. I should have. You know what I should have done? I should have installed the mod that remixes the soundtrack. I forgot. But there's a mod that like modernizes the soundtrack, so it's a little less repetitive. I don't dislike the music, but it's like, it's like what, a 70-second loop that doesn't perfectly loop. It was this was before Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore were at the company, so the music, could be better. Although there's a really funny story where they accidentally, like, either Marty or Mike, I forget who it was, they unintentionally basically recreated one of the tracks from this game. You know what? I don't gotta argue with any of you. Ow. There we go. Fuck you. How does that not kill you? What? There you go. Get out of here. Piss off. Piss off, ghost. Is the new marathon connected to this marathon? Yeah, it's a direct sequel. It directly follows up the events of both this game and the third game, technically. Whether or not it involves the second game is not entirely certain, but I can confirm, based on what they've shown publicly, that it does follow up at least Marathon 1 and 2, or 1 and 3. Oh, hey, a compiler. Oh, hey, a couple compilers. All right, so there's the Marathon's defense drones. You can see them fucking up the compilers right now. There's a few of them still active on this level. And they're pretty good about blowing these shits up. But you got to be careful because they can and will shoot you if you get in their line of fire. As you can see, I've kind of lost a lot of my shields. So we're going to see if we can find that recharger. What is the timeline of Marathon? Because I kind of thought some of the Marathon events affect the ship's status. Yeah, so Marathon 1, the ship gets attacked. You, oh, he hasn't. He doesn't. Okay, there we go. The ship gets attacked. You are fighting to repel the alien invasion by the 4. You succeed and drive them off, / enslave them in reverse, / capture them for research and interrogation. Is a side effect of rampancy that AIs generally become more aggressive and more difficult to affect by subterfuge. Thus, actually disassembling a rampant AI is quite dangerous. This was evident in the crash of Traxxas 4 in 2206. We talked about this in the Jake the All-Right video. Traxxas 4 was one of the first, if not the first AI to go rampant in a scale that actually caused major damage to humanity. By the time the rampancy of Traxxas was detected, he had already infiltrated 5 of the other AIs on the Martian net. So, like, as you can see, like, rampant AIs can take control of the other AIs and infect them, similar to the logic plague of the Flood in Halo. The only recourse for the Martians was to shut down the Martian planetary net. Even then, it took 2 full years to completely root out the damage that Traxxas had done, and the repercussions of the crash were seen for over 10 years after his rampancy had begun. Rampancy has been divided into 3 distinct stages. Each stage can take a different amount of time to develop, but the end result is a steady progression towards greater intellectual activity and an acceleration of destructive impulses. It is not clear whether these impulses are due to the growth of the AI's psyche or simply a side effect of new intellectual activity. 3 stages were diagnosed shortly after the first rampancies were discovered on Earth in the later part of the 21st century. The stages are titled after the primary emotional bent of the AI during each stage. They are melancholia, anger, and jealousy. In general, rampancy is accelerated by outside stimuli. This was discovered early on in cybertronics. The more rampant AI is harassed or threatened, the more rapidly it becomes dangerous. Thus, most rampant AIs are dealt with in one mighty attack in order to deny the AI time to grow or recover. There have been a few examples of this tactic not succeeding. In all of these cases, the rampant was never brought under control. Traxxas 4 is the most notable example. He was finally dealt with by a complete shutdown of his host's net. Theoretically, testing rampancy should be easily accomplished in the laboratory, but in fact it has never successfully been attempted. The confinement of the laboratory makes it impossible for the developing rampant AI to survive. As the growing recursive programs expand with exponential vivacity, any limitation negatively hampers growth. Since rampant AIs need a planetary-sized network of computers in order to grow, it is not feasible to expect anyone to sacrifice a world web just to test a theory. How big's the marathon again? In the 250 years since rampancy first appeared in the EarthNet, the stable rampant AI, the holy grail of cybertronics, has never come close to fruition. Since no rampant has ever been controlled or turned to any useful purpose, it is the opinion of this writer and of the majority of the cybertronic community that all rampant AIs are a danger to cyberlife, liberty, and the pursuit of thrashedness. James B. Miller, 2320, Life and Death of Intelligence. Okay, so a little bit of information there that is useful. You need a network the size of a planet or planetoid in order to theoretically grow an AI to a size that it would stabilize and then be useful and negotiable with. Now, for the most part, humanity would never have a planetary network that could be used in that way for the period of time necessary for an AI to stabilize. But if you had, I don't know, 300 years to careen through space on a small moon and you had one of those AIs that was spread out across the substrate of the compute of that moon, and it was more than the other ones, and there were support AIs that it could bounce off of to stay, as stable as possible while the rampancy progressed, then maybe you could achieve something like that. But I mean, it'd be super dangerous and crazy for somebody to deliberately try to do that. Surely not, right?
Surely not.
Surely not. All right, moving
Not
on
like
to...
we've seen that in other Bungie games with
Oh yeah.
other AIs, Rasputin, Cortana.
Yeah, fun fact, Cortana was originally planned to be built off of Durandal's subroutines. That was going to be the big reveal of Halo.
Everything.
Yeah, you remember in Combat Evolve where you see her and she's in the control room on Halo,
Yeah.
and she starts wigging out about how much data there is, and she's kind of getting a little crazy. She's kind of like a chick that just found a new like K-drama to get into, or so to speak, or anything like that. Like that was going to be the big turn. That was going to be the hint that not that everything was right with her. But obviously the story changed over time. Yeah. There's a part where she mentions the data, the power, and you're like, if you're in the know, you're like, guys. I've summarized all the information that I've gathered on the aliens so far. 4 are generally thinner and lighter than humans and are superbly adapted for low-gravity environments. Durandal told me that there are many clans of 4, each physically distinct from each other, but my summary only includes 2 of them. Only 2 clans of the 4 have been examined. The fighter carries a shock staff, which is capable of attacking at different settings. The trooper is armored for vacuum conditions and carries a combination explosive and impact projectile weapon, which is similar to your AR-75. The 4 seem to have enslaved a number of other races. Interesting here is that you're actually getting information on an enemy type you have not seen yet at this point in the game. You're actually getting information on 2 enemy types. The Hulk is an enormous and rather slow creature, but it is incredibly strong. The science report indicated that it had no body fat and therefore had to be fed often to keep it active. One crew member reported seeing one of these creatures pointing to itself and mumbling Driniol right before it picked Johnny up by the shirt and crushed him against a pillar. Quote, the science staff had difficulty finding a good specimen of the Sphit or compiler to autopsy. The only specimen autopsied was almost completely destroyed, but it was obvious that the compilers are cyborgs of some kind. The biological component of their compiler is so closely linked to the machine that it could never survive without it. Was Johnny okay? I'm sure he was fine. I mean, I'm right here. I'm fine, so you know. The compiler's actual body was very small, resembling closely a mammalian brain, except that the neurons are much finer and far more complex. So, the Sphit are brains in a jar, big jar, and the 4 have a couple of different classifications that we haven't run across yet. There's also a species called the Hulk, and this coalition of alien forces that has entered into a pact of some kind. One might even call it a covenant of sorts. Saving ammo here because I'm going to need to use some grenades in the second chat. Perhaps even a cabal. Indeed, yes. You could say that. I'm going to go back to this one actually real quick. But Another interesting thing to note here is that the science staff, Tycho's wing of the ship, actually has enough leeway where they have time to do things like autopsies and scientific documentation. Just, food for thought. Keep in mind the scale of the conflict at this point is still very much, survivable. Problematic, but not, they're tough, but they ain't invincible type shit. I gotta figure out which one I'm using. Oh, that's right. Oops. I forget which one I'm supposed to hit. I think it's this one and this one. Oh, I could be running out of grenades here, Chad. This is bad news bears, but we're just gonna. I don't remember, Chad. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Let me through, please.
It only came out in the 90s. Who could blame you?
Yeah, it's only been like 30 years since I actually tried to play this or whatever.
Only.
Actually play it.
Genuinely.
Chat, I genuinely don't remember, so I'm just gonna keep firing and then hope we get it. Oh, there we go. We got it. I think that's probably the exact way I've always done that section too, so forgive me for relying on old methods. All right, we'll hit a fat recharge right here. Actually, there's something shooting at us. It's downstairs. Oh, never mind. There he is. How nice of you to open the door for me. One sec. I know. I'm going to have to go soon, Cadge, and put the kids to bed and stuff. Huh? But yeah. We will continue this tomorrow if you so desire.
Yeah, I should be able to carve out plenty of time for that.
Nice. Yeah, we'll finish this level and then call it a night then. We're not on Colony Ship for sale yet, so we're not on one of the worst levels ever put into a game of any kind yet, so that's fine. One sec! I'm gonna go answer this real quick, chat. Be right back. Okay, chat. Sorry about that little delay. Had to check on my wife. Kids were worried that she had fallen and couldn't get up, but she was fine. Oh, I accidentally... Okay, we're fine. It's okay. We're right next to the pattern buffer. Never mind. We're good. We're good. My instincts were not off in that regard. Okay. Die for gore? I think I could just go around, though. Okay, if I was fast enough or had the right configuration set up, I can just go around that one. Okay. There we go. Opening door. Yeah, actually, you could sum up the content of this game with the words opening or more or less. Is it really gonna be like that? Okay, it's gonna be like that. I fucking knew you were gonna hit yes. Yeah, you know how it goes. Again, I used to just kind of trial and error these chats, so I am not super good at remembering exactly what to do here. If I recall correctly. I think that's it. Open your... Yeah, that's it. So yeah, one of the game's platforming segments here, you can kind of just run over that spot if you're going fast enough. It's not really platforming, but you get the idea.
That's all Durandal needed was for somebody to go open your instead of open the door.
He would have been fine. Somebody to talk to him, bro. You have not completed your mission. You must replace all the circuits. With every passing moment, the opportunity for us to counterattack is fading. So I believe this is the poured out zone. I'm not sure though, but anyway. Oh, they got me. Killed by some moving floor tiles. Guess we gotta wake up Recon 55. Jesus Christ, dude. Alright, we're through. Yeah, all of this, remember, is, you know, malfunctioning parts of the ship that are not supposed to work like this under normal circumstances. And also these are all like back access to, these are not the main channels of travel typically on the ship. So we're just in the guts of the belly of the beast, so to speak. All right, we got that one in. Open this one. Yo, get strafed on, idiot. Oh, ow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, get strafed on, idiot.
Soon to be number one runner, guys.
Rank 1, right here. This is where it starts.
Rank 1.
All right, we're all done with that section. We can head back out. We're gonna not get squished by the platforms. Look at that. Cash money. Well done. I have detected defense drones activating all over the ship. Reports from security forces are jubilant. Now, the 4 will encounter stiff resistance and they will have to pay in blood for every move. The colony appears to be under attack. I detected 7-4 dropships entering the atmosphere only minutes ago. Trajectory analysis indicates that the ships were heading for the outskirts of the colony. Shortly after, I lost communications with the colony. Something has come to my attention. I will inform you after you teleport. Teleport now. Okay, we're going to read this one, and then we're going to call it for the day. I believe this is where we stopped the last time I started this playthrough and had to stop because we got busy with other stuff. But we will be completing this game this time, chat. We'll be playing through this end. We're going to try and start when we normally start tomorrow. I got some other stuff I got to do in the daytime. Why did this fit go into TV static when you shoot them? Because this game was made in 1995. I have some bad news. Durandal has gone rampant. Now, obviously, again, if you had read the manual, you knew this already, chat, and he is in the angry stage. This explains how Durandal was able to communicate with the 4 in this fit while I have not. Theoretically, the Marathon computer net is not big enough to sustain rampant growth for very long. This means that as Durandal grows into the computer net, he will begin to affect all aspects of the ship, resulting in unpredictable failures of otherwise benign computer systems. I've teleported you here to make sure that Durandal cannot gain access to a vital section of the ship. There are a series of control switches that you will need to activate to block his access. This is where you are now. Study the map so that you can do this quickly. Now, there's not actually a timer in here, but that's just a little bit of extra flavor. Here's the first of 3 switches that you will need to activate. Here's the second switch. This is the last switch. Be warned that aliens have already entered this area. I almost said alia, because alien, you know, kind of thing. All right, we're going to go find a pattern buffer, chat. We're going to save, and we are going to call it an evening for the stream so far. I have a couple things I got to take care of, but first I got to put the kids to bed and, you know, set up some stuff for editing and such. Okay, this is one of the terminals. That's an automated defense thing. I'm trying to find the darn actual like way to save here, but I can't remember where it is. Be gone, beast. Perish. Die. I'll find the pattern buffer eventually, chat. It's just a matter of looking. Not that one. There it is. Okay. We're going to save right there. We hit the save button. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you very much to CAD for hopping in to get this sort of primer for the marathon experience, what we can expect going forward in the trilogy in terms of, you know, the vibe and the atmosphere. Obviously, the game is very different visually and very different in you know, play and all that stuff, but a lot of the same elements that were present in the 90s games are present plot-wise in the new game, and I'm very excited to uncover how they connect up, because they are, you know, sequels to each other. Again, thanks to CAD for that. It was kind of nice to have somebody who was of the perspective of a neophyte or a novice to the lore and just getting their first exposure to it. What'd you think?
As you were going over one of the things earlier, I was actually adding the marathon games to my Steam so I can play them on my own.
Excellent. We got another one, boys. Ah! But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the marathon one. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's not going to help me an extraction shooter, but it's going to get me into the lore at least.
You know, I like, if nothing else, you'll know why you're doing what you're doing, which might be a good premise to go from in order to play through them. But yeah, obviously, like, mechanically they are very different animals, but I'm excited to get into it either way. And yeah, I know. I mean, I've been waiting for these games since Marathon Infinity dropped in like 97. So I am very, 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 very excited to play this in a week. Have you ever played a 90s peak fiction game with your life on the line? That's so accurate, dude. But yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow, more marathon. We're going to try to get through all 3 games. If we do and we still have time, chat, we will try to get through Pathways with a guide before Thursday, because Thursday is when the server slam starts. And believe me, we will be there at 10 a.m. Pacific when the gates open. I will be preloading. It's so serious. I'm going to get a good night's sleep before the day of. That's how real it is. I'm going to go to bed at like 9 p.m. I'm going to put the kids to bed early. I'm going to get the wife in bed early. I'm going to wear my PJs, bro. It's going to be real. Tomorrow, see you for tomorrow, or I will strike the servers. Yeah, Nick's gonna call his dude at Bungie and have them turn the servers off for me specifically without twos. But yeah, we could do a little Halo cross reference tomorrow as well. Look at all the things in common. That'd be fun too. But yeah, anyway, chat, I'm gonna let you guys go. DJ, the server slam is free, so if you want to play it next week, like next Thursday, like, it's free, dog. I'll run with you a few. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop yapping. I could talk about this for another 8 hours easily and lose my voice, but I want to not do that. So you all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support, guys. Yeah, the server slam, February 26th to March 2nd is totally free, big dog. And the game is Arc Raiders priced when it does drop. So, I mean, if you magically have it show up in your inbox from me, don't tell nobody I sent that shit to you. Or somebody else from the community, who knows? But yeah, no, the game's free to play for 5 days before it comes out. So everybody get on that shit. We marathon in it. All right. Good night, everybody.